This podcast is brought to you by Kamikoto. Kamikoto makes great kitchen knives using traditional techniques, and they just launched their longest blade in their collection, an epic 13-inch Yanagiba knife. Each knife comes in a beautiful, heavy-duty ash wood box, and they use steel sourced from Japan. Each blade is crafted using techniques that have been honed and perfected by generation of knifesmiths from Japan. I feel like that is where knives came from in the first place. Because of their single bevel edge, Kamikoto knives can achieve a wickedly sharp edge you just can't get with other knives. They're ridiculously sharp, like cut through your ribeye like butter sharp. I absolutely love these knives. When I got them, the box was so big, I went, there's no way this is one knife. And then you whip it out, and everyone, and I literally mean whip it out, a 13-inch knife, you pull it out. I cut up a prime rib with this knife. I've never had more fun cutting up a prime rib in my entire knife. They're gorgeous. Their handles are great, and they even give you a whetstone to sharpen the blade. Kamikoto knives are used by several chefs that work at Michelin star restaurants, and they make a great gift, especially because this wood box that the knives are in is so beautiful. And like I said, you can maintain the edge of your blades with one of Kamikoto's sharpening whetstones. Kamikoto is so confident about their knives that each knife comes with a lifetime guarantee. If you go ahead and buy now, Kamikoto is offering our listeners an extra 25% off site-wide on top of their other discounts. Go to kamikoto.com and use the offer code Bertcast. Kamikoto.com/Bertcast. That's KAMIKOTO.com/Bertcast. Brand new podcast, everybody. And this is a Biggs one.
A Biggs one?
Yeah, Jason Biggs. I'm really excited. I share with him a story that he did not know.
About himself?
No, about I watched that Will Smith saw his movie.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was like, "Wait, you watched that movie with Will Smith?" I was like, "Yeah, it's actually a great podcast. It's one of the better ones I've ever done because I listen very well." By the way, don't get used to that. I'm a horrible podcast host. In the man cave with me right now. And by the way, this is one of my 3 podcasts. There's a new Bill Bert out and a new Two Bears, One Cave out. Go check them out. I'm in the man cave with my
favorite daughter.
One of my top 2 favorite daughters.
Wait, who's the first?
It's either you or Georgia. It goes back and forth. Last night it was you, definitely.
Yeah, I know that.
And my lovely wife, who looks amazing. Does mom look like she's in better shape, Isla?
Yeah, she's been drinking a lot of water.
She has been drinking a lot of water.
I am the water champ.
By the way, I just drew a blank.
Did you?
You're crying.
I'm so tired. I'm so fucking tired.
I'm way more tired.
I'm way more tired. Isla, who's more tired, me or mom?
It's mom.
Me.
I'm losing my voice. I'm so
tired.
Mom,
ta-ta.
Ta-ta?
Ta-ta.
That's the noise I have to make when I work out.
Ta-ta.
Why?
Because he comes in and slithers in like a snake.
Because you make sure you're breathing right. Actually, I don't make that noise. Cat does.
It's so funny. In my spin class, every now and then they'll go breathe, and I'll go, "Oh, that's right. I haven't been breathing." I think sometimes I hold my breath when I run.
You think?
Yeah.
You also hold your breath when you get a massage.
And when you air eat.
I have given you a massage, and I have to go breathe, and you go.
And Dad, when you air eat with not breathing.
Describe air eating, Isla.
Ghost eating.
Yeah, it's like you're eating. It's like you're biting in.
Set the scene. When do I ghost eat the most?
So like when we're at dinner and you have a salad and everyone else has like pasta, you're just like.
I like bite into the air as if I bite along with people. If I make you something, like if I make you a quesadilla and I give it to you, your first bite, I bite along with you. I go, oh. You know what else I used to do that in? You get ready to get freaked out. I used to do that if I saw people kissing on screen, I'd air kiss with them.
That's creepy and lonely,
I did that with Papa one time. He was watching a movie with me, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "Huh? What? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize we weren't all kissing."
That's pretty funny.
Birdie Boy World Tour this week is in Evansville, Indiana, Indianapolis, and Louisville. I think those shows are all but sold out. Here's the deal. We do release tickets. Day of, we'll release some tickets that we didn't have to hold on to. Oh God, my brain is fucking air
That didn't
farting.
make sense. You're going to release some tickets.
We release tickets day of. There's like a handful of tickets that we hold on to in case we need them. Say someone's father-in-law comes to a show in Atlanta, and I hold tickets for him because he calls me at the last minute.
Yeah.
Beacon Theater, 2 shows. Get your tickets. The second show has a few available tickets. Dar Constitution Hall in DC. There's some tickets left on the second show, and yeah, I can't wait. It's a great tour, all new material. It's been a blast. I would love for the girls to come on the road with me, but they don't love me enough, I guess.
True.
Or maybe
Very true.
Mom won't let us skip school.
Maybe
I'll let you
that's
skip
it.
school.
I would gladly skip school
Nope.
every day.
Nope.
You think you could live on the tour bus?
Dad.
Yes, she could totally live on the tour
There
bus.
are yogurt-covered Skittles on the tour bus.
What? There's no such thing as a yogurt-covered
Bull.
Skittle.
Oh.
Shit. How many bags of yogurt covered Skittles were there, Isla?
There's like 10, Mom.
What?
I found them at a gas
Who heard
station.
of such a thing?
I found them at a gas station in the middle of the country. I was like, wait, yogurt covered Skittles. I go, I know someone who would love these. Cut to the other day, we're in the tour bus. Isla's in the tour bus. The tour bus was here in LA with us. Isla's in the tour bus, and I hear her little voice. It matched up perfectly with the way I had wanted this joke to go down. She goes, yogurt covered Skittles. And I go, Isla, I got them for you. She goes, they got to be gross, right? And I said, try them. How good are they, Isla?
Oh God, they're amazing. Like you know, when it's like how you lick a Tootsie
I'm sorry,
Pop?
did your mouth just water and you had to swallow?
Me?
She goes, you know, it's like, do you know how when you,
Okay.
How'd they figure out how to put? I mean, how'd they figure out that'd be good? Do you
Mom.
think someone dropped a Skittle in some yogurt?
no,
and
I
then
think
ate
that
it?
people go, you know, yogurt covered raisins are great. Raisins suck. How about if
Raisins do not suck.
Raisins
They are awful,
suck.
Mom.
Oh my
No
God!
one
My
likes
favorite
raisins.
cookie is oatmeal raisin.
Oh,
I love raisins.
Yeah, dance it up, dress it up in a cookie, maybe, but come on.
I love raisins. I eat
Oh.
raisins if they didn't have so much sugar.
Oh,
they're all
that's the part you're
sugar.
complaining about?
Yeah.
Not the fact that they taste like old people's feet?
They do not.
Oh my.
I
feet are
wouldn't know. I
killing
don't
me.
suck on old people's feet.
Oh my God, Isla and I found our new favorite show. What's
I
the
have
name of
like
it?
this weird finger thing.
No, you are
Uh,
out of your fucking mind.
And then I have a hammer toe on my.
You don't have a
it's-
hammer toe. You know what?
It hurts.
We watch this show. My feet are killing me, and inevitably, within 5 minutes into that show, Isla has come down with the exact same foot problem they have.
I wonder where she learned that behavior.
It's amazing to watch. Like she literally will be watching TV, and then all of a sudden she's staring at her feet, going,
Really?
Uh-oh,
I'm
uh-oh.
so shocked.
No, I think
Pot
I do-
calling kettle black.
I think I do have a hammer toe because I walk on my nail.
"You don't have a hammer toe.
Because like
Let me see your toe. Let me see your toe."
I don't want to take my socks
It's
off.
because you put your socks on too tight and it curls your toe under.
Wait,
no.
do you really have a hammer toe?
No, she doesn't have a
And then
hammer
my
toe.
other toe goes like this.
She has a forced hammer toe. She has geisha
has hammer toe?
She has geisha toe.
Geisha toe.
That's
yeah,
when you
know
bind
when they
your
bind
feet.
the feet. I do
Isla,
that.
why do you put your socks so tight?
I don't put my socks tight. It's my shoes, Dad.
Bull.
It's
shit.
both, and it's
Your
sensory
socks are so
processing.
tight that the heel is where the calf is.
That.
Isla, let me see your hammer toe. Take your sock off.
No, I have
Take your
ugly
sock
feet.
off.
She doesn't have a hammer toe.
Yes, I do.
I have a hammer time. Can't touch this.
Mom does that at 6 o'clock every night.
I turned it off last night because no one listens to it.
What?
I set a timer on everybody's phone at 6 o'clock so they could stop what they were doing and do their chores.
Oh, that's
And do their
oh.
chores, and no one ever does them. So why am I listening to Hammer Time? When
Wait, you have a hammer toe too?
Hammer Time is
It's
the
macho.
it's Macho Man, but we call it Hammer Time. Whatever.
I'm got to be a macho
A
man.
macho man.
Macho man.
Sing it, sister.
I've got to be a macho.
Oh God, this has gone totally off the rails.
All right, guys, let's start this podcast. It's a great podcast today. Today's guest is Jason Biggs. Jason Biggs is married to Jenny Molin. We talk about Jenny real quick at the beginning. Jenny is an absolutely hilarious author. Her Twitter is insanely funny. She's an actress. She's really cool. And just to make everything clear so that you are caught up to speed, if I don't make things clear, Jenny's sister Sam is best friends with my sister Cotty.
That's right.
So that is how I know Jason and Jenny. So when I say to Jason at the beginning, your wife was sitting at that table rolling cigars, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? She came to my 40th birthday. Jason was shooting something. I think Orange is the New Black at the time. And so Jenny came with Sam and Duran, her husband.
Yep.
So that's just to make everything clear. All right.
Clear.
It's a great podcast. It really is. We talk a lot about his class in Hollywood. You know, we do that a lot with comedians. Is like, who's your class? And you know, my class was like Dimitri Martin, Kevin Hart was my class. Big J is a class below me, I think, but only because I was already at the clubs when then him and Kevin showed up. Kevin got in really quickly. But that's how we figure out classes. Is like who the guys you started with, open mic scenes, and who the guys that you're doing clubs with. Jason talks about his class, and it's really fascinating. It's the Dawson Creek kids. It's Seth Green. It's a great conversation. It's a great podcast. I'm not gonna.
Feet smell.
My feet don't smell.
My feet smell.
Yeah, like hammers. So let's cut to the chase, guys. Birdie Boy World Tour this weekend: Indianapolis, Evansville, and Louisville. I will see you on the road the following week, and I can't remember. Anyway, without further ado, I hope you enjoy this podcast. Today's guest, Jason Biggs.
He's the man, the myth, the legend, the fucking machine.
I basically pretty much told everyone where I lived.
Come on.
Nonstop. I couldn't even help myself. I mean, not just short of putting, I said the name of my street in my special. I said the name of my street. I then, in doing the podcast, people would say stuff and I go, oh yeah, go to this place or this place. And so people would just hit me up and be like, yo, I know exactly where you live, man.
Yeah.
And so, and my career's been extremely different than yours, is that you got it, such a big splash of it that you went, all right, I'm going dark mode.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
I got to go dark mode.
I
That's
knew
the only way.
immediately I had to go dark.
See, I dark mode showed up like 20 years in.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like stalkers and I was like, oh, I got to be a little more careful.
Yeah.
My kids have said no.
You have kids, man.
My kids said no Instagramming at the new house.
Yeah.
So I don't want to buy another house.
Yeah. How old are your kids now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
15 and 13.
Boys?
Girls. Both girls.
Both
yeah.
girls.
Yeah, you got 2 boys, right?
2 boys, yeah. Younger though. What's it like teenage girls? Is it as awful as they say?
Yeah. It's not as bad.
I mean, it's great.
My kids are dorks a little bit.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that's
like,
good.
They're
that's
like
good.
nerds. So like we can get into stuff together, like the Umbrella Academy we're really into.
Uh-huh.
And like they still like theme parks. So
Right.
like they like comic books, and they're like, Georgia went to her first social formal.
Uh-huh.
And I was on the bus and I called and she said, I said, I was last night. And she goes, Dad, I partied so hard. I was like, really? And she goes, have you ever heard of a mosh pit? I was like,
That's amazing.
did you think you'd have kids?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but I thought I'd have girls.
2 boys.
Yeah, so far, over.
Are you done?
Girl front. I don't know, man. It's strong likelihood.
Yeah.
But it's possible. I mean, look, if it were up to me, I mean, we both vacillate and we're kind of never on the same page. She's like, maybe we should. And it's the one moment that I'm like, let's wait a beat. But usually it's, come on, let's do it. I'm the one saying, come on, let's do it. And she's like, ah. So I don't know. We go back and forth, but I mean, look, we're psyched. My boys are awesome. I'm very happy, very blessed, et cetera, et cetera. But I always pictured having a girl. I grew up with 2 sisters in a very matriarchal household. I did not expect. Even from the time I was a kid, I just always, whenever I pictured myself as a parent, it was always to a girl. And so when for the phone call that we got when the doctor was like, it's a boy, I was like, it's not real. Check it again, dude. I didn't believe it. I was
the same way, but with a girl.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll never have girls. What am I gonna fucking say to a girl?
That's how I was. I did not. and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. What do I do with? I mean, like, look, I definitely, like, I like sports. I like, I can hang. whatever.
You're like a legit theater
I
guy,
can
though.
be a dude, but
You're
I'm
a legit theater guy.
Yeah, man, I'm a theater guy.
That's
like,
what I think people forget is like you are legit, like not just legit in your adult age, but like you were acting before American Pie.
Way before. It's fun. At that point, I'd already been acting for 15 years. Started in 83 in New York.
Really?
1983. Yeah, man. I've had an agent for 37 years almost. Is that crazy?
Holy God.
I've had an agent for 37 years. The same one. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, man, isn't that crazy? But yes, dude. So I'm like, I danced and took ballet as a kid. And
For real?
I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, and I love theater and.
But what was the thing? What was the thing that got
Not that again. I'm being very sort of.
No. But what was the thing that got you into it? Because I liked acting in 5th grade. I was in a play. I played Nana in Peter Pan, and I stole the show because I just was like, I did something. I heard him laugh, and I was like, oh, the dog's gonna be all over this.
Yep.
But
I mean, it's a drug, dude. Right? When you hear that audience and you get that feedback for the first time, I mean, you as a stand-up know it better than anyone. I mean, I love it. I would be. I mean, stand-up would be a perfect drug for me. I mean, I can't do it because I can't write my shit. But boy, I crave that, man. That feedback.
Really?
Oh, dude, yeah. That's why I love doing the show I'm doing now. I'm digressing, but what was the thing that got me in? Well, I was first doing like commercials and voiceovers and like modeling. Like I was in like the kids' clothing catalog. Wearing the sweater and the thing, and we're doing like little modeling shows and stuff like that in New York. And then I guess my first big thing was a play that I did when I was 11 or 12. So at that point, I'd already been doing it for like 6 years, and I was just doing commercials. That was my big thing. I was like doing commercials left and right, man. Cheerios, Crest. Campbell's soup.
But where was that money going?
All being socked away for college.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and
your
it
parents
was.
were like regular people.
They're still in the same house I grew up in New Jersey, Bergen County, middle class. Work, blue-ish collar.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my life. And they just sort of, what happened was my older sister, who's 6.5 years my senior, when she was younger, she was in this dance group in New Jersey, and she was very good. And the group was good, and they would travel around, and they got some, recognition and stuff. And a lot of the girls, it was Jersey based, and we literally grew up 8 miles from Manhattan. So a lot of the girls, their moms started taking them into the city, try to get agents and managers and do the acting thing. And my mom and Heather, my sister, wanted to do that. And my mom thought, hey, you know what? If she works, then we could put the money away for college. Because at that point, they had 3 kids. They were like, And so that's what happened. She started working, and then I came along. And I guess the story goes, when I was 5, her manager said, what about Jason? Would he want to, I have some auditions if he wants to go out. And my mom... I was in. I was like, I never remember saying, being like, I never remember being forced into it, but I also never remember saying, I always liked it. I just always loved it. And so I started doing commercials for like 5 years straight, just doing a lot of commercials. And then I did this play in 1991. Called Conversations with My Father, which
with
Judd Hirsch, Tony Shalhoub, David Krumholtz.
Who's David Krumholtz?
So Dave was on. He's been in you would recognize him. He was on that show, Numbers, with Rob Morrow for years on CBS.
Oh, I know who that guy is.
Yeah.
I'm googling him. I think I know exactly who he is.
Yeah, and he's super funny. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in like as a kid. After he did the play, he did Addams Family, and he did a bunch of shit. But he's great. You see him yet?
Yeah, I know who that guy is.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a cool cast, and then we did it in Seattle.
I know exactly who that guy is.
Yeah,
I know exactly who that fucking guy is.
Yeah, he's great. And then we did it on Broadway for like a year, and around that same time, I got my first TV show, which shot out here in LA. So I came to LA for the first time, 91, 92, a show called Drexel's Class, which was on Fox, which went one season with Dabney Coleman. And so that was those were like my first big jobs that weren't like commercials.
I was starting college.
It's crazy.
I was starting. How old were you?
I was in 91. I would have been 13.
Jesus Christ! I was starting college in 91. That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
That's crazy because I always say to people when there are kids that want to get into the industry, I said like comics.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever talks to me about acting, but I always go, start right now. If you start right now, you're just going to be successful. That's how it works. If you don't get fucked up on drugs, you will. You'll just learn how to do it and you'll love it. And you won't love it and you just, but start now.
It's kind of true. I have mixed feelings about it, but I don't disagree. I do believe that the reason I am still in the game right now is because of and the reason I ended up having a leg up on my competition as I got older and moved to LA in 97 and so forth was because I had all those years of experience behind me, for sure. For sure. I believe that. I was an outlier. I mean, it's the whole like 10,000 hours thing. At that point,
auditioning is a fucking no-brainer for
dude. Auditioning is like a second language that I speak fluently.
I wish to God, can I tell you what I would like? I would like to go into an audition and have you watch me audition and have you tell me what I did wrong. Louis C.K. once did that to me.
Oh, really?
Louis C.K. said, Can I tell you what doesn't work on an audition? And I said, what? And he goes, saying anything. I don't need you to really say anything. We're a really busy day.
Yeah.
I don't need you to bring your bag in. I don't need you to put your bag down. You should have all your stuff in your bag. Like, be ready to just read the lines. Don't bring a coffee in. Don't get yourself situated.
No.
Just go in, sit down, read the lines. You should be off book.
Yep.
And leave.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. Don't try to sell yourself in the room. Just go in. We know what we're looking for. If you are it, that's great. But if you bother us, you'll never be it.
Yeah, it's true.
And I was like, I did all those things. He goes, I know, that's why I'm telling you. And I went, oh, wait, you're telling me based on my audition? And he goes, oh, yeah.
Oh,
it was one of the worst auditions I've ever seen.
Oh, my God.
Dude, I am a horror. I cannot audition to save I'm not good at auditioning.
It is a very specific skill set. And unfortunately, it's, it can make or break you. Obviously, that's part of the process, but it's almost unfair because, it's like you get one crack at it. Maybe you get a second, maybe they'll say, okay, one more time. Maybe they'll give you a note. Maybe they won't.
Yeah.
They might just say, okay, good. And you're like, wait, what? And then in reality, if you had the job, you get a few cracks at it. You get more time with it. I mean, you sometimes get auditions that are like, oh, we got this thing for you tomorrow, 10 a.m. It's 6 p.m. And it's like, we got this thing at 10 a.m. and it's like 9 pages of shit. And you're like, wait, what? Like, this is not fair. So auditioning already is like, it's stacked against the actor for sure. For the most part, it is stacked against you. You're already, it's an uphill battle before you ever enter the room. It just is.
And you were at the place, even when you're a young man, you're at the place where you're probably going right to producers anyway on anything.
Yeah.
So you're only like, I would at least get to go through casting directors and work it with them sometimes.
Right. Yeah, right.
If they wanted me to get it.
Right. My one shot is like, yeah, it becomes one shot really. You're going in for the producer and the director and, you got to nail it there as opposed to like, oh, I gave the casting director enough to see and she wants to bring me back. She's like, okay, good. That was a good trial. I know I'm going back for producers and you have a little bit more time to work with it. But yeah, it's, but the whole thing is, first of all, I'm a great memorizer, which obviously is
I wish
key,
I was good at that.
which is key. But also I don't disagree with Louis' notes there.
Yeah.
But I do believe that, for me anyway, what works is bringing some of my own sort of charm to it, right?
Yeah.
There might not be an opportunity, but if there is, to make a little joke or to say something or to, there usually ends up being, for me, I find something to, whatever it is, to engage with them before I sort of go into actor mode with the sides. That being said, he's right. Like, you're not going in there to do a bit. You're not going in to perform. You're doing their fucking sides. That's it. Do you know what I mean?
I went in and read for a sitcom with Danny DeVito and Alicia Silverstone. I read In the Room with Them. And I just rescued a woman from a burning building. I was driving
That's
down.
the scene?
No,
Or,
no,
you really did.
in real fucking life, right? I was driving down like over by like fucking 6th in Detroit, like over by Wilshire,
Uh-huh.
and someone had thrown a cigarette in a bush, and a bush caught on fire, and I'm driving to the audition. I see the bush on fire, and I'm like, holy fuck, no one sees I'm the only one, so I stop my car and go and knock on the door. It's one of those where there's like 2 apartments upstairs, 2 apartments downstairs.
Yep.
Knock on the door, nothing. I open the door, and then I start banging on all on the doors, right? Now, as I'm banging, I go bottom, and I run up to the top, bang on those, and as I come back down, the downstairs door is not there. Everyone's coming up at them, and they're like, she's sleeping. She works at night. I guarantee. Just keep banging, keep banging, keep banging. Woman shows up, opens the door, and she's like, what the fuck? And as she says that, the flames go into her window. She's like, oh my God, comes running out. Everyone gets out, and I'm like Dustin Hoffman in that fucking movie at the airplane. I just go, I got to go to an audition. I leave, and I go in and tell Alicia Silverstone and Danny DeVito, I just rescued a woman out of a burning building. And they're like, what does that have to do with this scene? And I was like, well, I'm just saying, like, if I smell like smoke. And they're like, what? And I was like, nothing. And I just walked out. I was like, fuck this. It's just not going to work. This already isn't going well.
Yeah, but hold on. You have, I mean.
It was like.
How do you not talk? Dude, you
That's
must
my
have
problem
been.
is I should not speak half the times I speak.
Yeah, but that's hard. How do you not talk about that, dude? That is such a. Your adrenaline must have been going so fucking hard, dude.
Oh, it's fucking so fired.
Like you can't walk into there and not share. I would have. I mean, that's crazy.
I'm such a bad auditioner. I'm so bad at it that the only time I ever booked something, it was because I made fun of Les Moonves.
Is that true?
Yeah. I just walked in and he was like, we were testing for this sitcom, and he was like, hey, Bert, good to see you again. And I said, we've never met. He was like, excuse me? I said, I remember that hair. And everyone laughed. And he was like, really? I said, yeah, what are you doing on that side of the camera? You should be over here. And he goes, I used to be a soap actor. And I said, really? And he said, oh, yeah. And then he was like, all right, well, hey, are we going to read this scene? And then I read the scene, and he was like, I fucking love that kid. Give it to him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I did it. Went fine, went great. But then all of a sudden I got put into this, like, go in and read to producers. And it was like, I wasn't I wasn't an actor. I wasn't like a legit, I remember thinking, I'm not like a legit actor. Like I'm not like I can play Bert perfectly.
Yeah.
I can't play the wacky neighbor. I'm not that wacky neighbor. I can just play me.
But it's working out for you, man.
Stand-up is where I think.
Yeah.
And I think the older I've gotten, the less I care about acting. And I think you get better if you don't care about it.
Dude, but that's true about everything in life I'm discovering lately. That is something I've been talking a lot about that lately, actually. The less invested, or the more you're able to sort of pull yourself out and have a little bit more perspective on what the priorities are in general, it really, because look, dude, yeah, it's so hard, dude. I mean, it's just.
The less you care, this is going to sound super Hollywood, but the less you care about a $10,000 check, the more often people offer you $10,000 to do something.
Yeah.
Like it is the craziest. When I was young and married and kids and broke and doing the road, the idea of making $6,000 in a weekend was a pipe dream.
Yeah.
I mean, was never going to, I was like, how in the fuck? I remember I toured with this guy, and he told me how much money he made in a month. He made $1 million in a month. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, how do you even get to that level?
Yeah.
But then you get to a place where things start happening, and then you stop caring as like the way you did. And it's like almost all of a sudden, it's like the energy starts going with you.
Yep. It's true, man. It's really true.
Wait, was there a point you cared? Like, you seem to me like someone who, I was thinking this today. I was going in my refrigerator, and I was like, I wonder if he worries about money. Like, because I always worry about money, but I think that's why I was broke for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You had such a run of huge fucking summer blockbuster. I don't know if they're summer, but summer blockbuster movies, and then such like you've done so much cool stuff.
Yeah,
that it seems like anytime you want, you could be like, I'll host a game show and get fucking $20 million. Like, do you worry about money?
It's a great question, actually. Your
wife's a national bestseller. I'm a New York Times bestseller. I mean,
yes and no. So I mean, it's so look, when I'm not working, the thing that I worry about most is less financial and more emotional. I get, I'd say it's less financial insecurity that I have, although it happens sometimes when you're not, because when I'm not working, and I go long stretches without working, and everything's going out, and we live a certain lifestyle now. So the outgoing money is not small amounts. I live in fucking New York. I own a condo in New York, and I have 2 kids in private school, and these are all choices that I've made, and my wife and I have made, but we have a nut. That's a real fucking nut.
We've all got a nut.
And when that's only when it's only going out, and look, I have investments and that stuff. So there's even when I'm not working, there's some stuff coming in, and hopefully, and some years not, some years there are, but when I'm not working, for the most part, where my head goes is, oh shit, this is all outgoing. Do you know what I mean? And I'll be fine for a little while.
You're talking to a guy who spent every fucking weekend on the road for the last, every fucking, I can't stop working because all I think is I can't slow down because I don't want that out to go so far out, I can't bring it back in.
Exactly.
And this is a very modest house. Our nut is super, has always been very small, but still I have that fucking.
Yeah, man. Of course you do. And so if enough time goes by, and I'll get freaked out, and we'll have these conversations with Jenny, and I will have these conversations about, should we change some of our behaviors? I haven't been on a show in 2 years, and the last American Pie resketch was a little less than I thought, or whatever it is that makes me go, should we? And then, maybe my business manager will say something that kind of maybe gets in my head a little bit, because she's pretty conservative, but I've always known that about her. But anyway, but I want her to be conservative, P.S. But she might say something like, oh, that was, you spent on, that was something, huh? And I'm like, wait, what? Was that too? And then I start freaking out. And then I always end up coming back to, I know what I have. I know and ultimately I know that more will come. Like I get freaked out that I'm not going to work again, and then I go through all of the emotions, and I go through all the like, oh my God, this is horrible, and it's all going to be outgoing, and do I have enough for the rest of our lives? I do, if we do this, or if we do that, or what, and then I like always come back to, this is not, I've every year, I probably have it maybe once or twice a year where I go, wait, should I? And then basically what ends up happening is we don't change our behavior, really. Maybe we do for a minute. And then we end up sort of, the nut stays the same. We take that trip that we were like, should we not take that trip? We fucking take it.
Yeah.
And guess what? The year ends, and I still have money in the bank. Like I've been very blessed. And so for me, it comes down to like, I'm now 42 almost. Do I keep doing this my whole life? Like at what point do I go, fuck man, I'm good. I've got a fucking lot of money in the bank. Like I'm totally okay. Can I just live stress-free? Like that's a blessing. That is a gift that I've been given. Why do I want to keep fucking torturing myself? Yes, don't be stupid. I can't be stupid, but I'm not. And like, I know that it's going to be okay. Right. So
you turned out to be the guy we wanted you to be when we saw you in American Pie. You turned out to be the guy, like, meaning like everyone saw you and was like, oh, this is a great guy. The character was a great guy, but then everyone meets you and they're like, oh, I want him to stick around.
Yeah.
Like, and you did it. Like, that's so, so many of those guys didn't.
I know.
So many of those guys didn't, and I don't know why. Fucking Sean, whatever that guy's name is, that did the movie The Rock.
Sean Scott.
He was so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just letting him know, if he's listening, I'm still buying tickets to whatever the fuck you put out. I don't know where you are, I don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
But fucking, I loved that guy.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. Like, it's interesting to hear you say that about me, that was like your perception of me. Like, that you like saw me in 99 or whatever that was.
I saw you with Will Smith. Me and Will Smith went to see that movie.
Who? Will Smith?
Will Smith, yeah.
Will Smith? Will Smith?
Will Smith, me, Kool Mo D, Biz Markie, Jazzy Jeff, James Lassiter. We all went from Overbrook. We all went to go see that together.
No shit.
Yeah, we saw that. More people too. More hip hop guys, but I don't remember. It was 99, 99, and we went to Planet Hollywood, just off by Lincoln, by Lincoln Center around there.
Yeah.
Went to Planet Hollywood, went downstairs. We had shrimp and Long Island iced teas, and we watched American Pie, and they fucking howled laughing.
No
Like
shit.
howled laughing. I'd never seen it. I'm dying laughing, but I'm nervous because I thought they were judging my sensibility, my comedic sensibility. So halfway through, I started relaxing. I got a little
and
drunk
enjoying it more.
and
yeah.
enjoying it, and I had a fucking blast. And then
That's fucking cool story, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love hearing that. That's
it's even cooler if I tell you that I thought Will Smith wanted to fuck me in the ass that night. My dad convinced me that Will wanted to have sex with me because he was like, it was a long story. It's a long story. I've told it a lot, but and then I told him I was a hip hop fan. He goes, "What'd you think of the movie?" I was like, "It's great." He's like, "What'd you think of the room?" I was like, "It's cool." He's like, "What about the guys?" I go, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You said you're a hip hop fan. Look around. That's Kool Mo D. That's Biz Markie. That's I brought all these guys so you can meet them." And I was like, "Shut the fuck up."
That's
but yeah,
pretty dope.
you turned into the guy. And then I moved out to LA shortly thereafter. And I remember it's like you guys were the class. Like who do you think your class was? Despite not just the American Pie crew,
Yeah, right.
but who was your class? I feel like it was Seth Green.
I was just gonna say Seth Brecken.
Seth Green. I saw Seth Green driving a red Honda Civic, and I had a fucking massively expensive Ford truck because I had all this television money. And I remember I drove past him up by Yamashiro, and I went, "Motherfucker, I'm wasting my goddamn money.
Mhm.
This guy's in fucking TV shows his whole life and in movies.
Yep.
I am pissing money away." But yeah, who else?
Yeah,
Seth
Breckenmeyer. The Dawson's Creek. Michelle and Katie and Josh and James and let's see who else. Yes, Seth.
Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie, Freddie Prinz was in
Yeah.
our class. Like that was all our class right around there. Sarah, Selma, Blair.
This podcast is brought to you by Quip. I will tell you one thing about Quip. They have the best damn tasting toothpaste in the world. I can't use any other toothpaste. I have a problem with toothpaste. Quip's toothpaste freaking rocks. Their toothbrush is better. What I love about this toothbrush is that it does all the work for you practically. And look, here's the deal. If you have good habits when it comes to oral care, you're good. That means brushing for 2 minutes twice a day, flossing regularly, no matter what brand you use. Quip makes it that simple, starting with their electric toothbrush, refillable floss, and anti-cavity toothpaste, which I love the taste of. Quip's electric brush has sensitive sonic vibrations with a built-in timer and 30-second pulses to guide a full and even clean of your mouth. Let me tell you something. I literally zone out when I brush my teeth now and just run it all over slowly. And when it just boop, I go to the next one, boop, and then when I'm done, I'm done. I don't have to think about it. Plus, the Quip floss dispenser comes with pre-marked string to let you know just how much is enough floss. Not to mention, Quip delivers fresh brush heads and floss and toothpaste refills to your door every 3 months with free shipping, so your routine is always right. Join over 3 million healthy mouths and get Quip today starting at $25. And if you go to getquip.com/Bertcast right now, you'll get your first refill for free. That's your first refill for free at getquip.com/Bertcast. I'll spell it out for you. getquip.com/Bertcast. You heard it right. Your first refill for free at getquip.com/Bertcast. Quip, the good habit company. This podcast is brought to you by Blue Apron. Health is personal, but no matter what it looks like, it should taste good. Am I correct? That's why Blue Apron wants to help you create a mealtime routine that works for you, one that's not centered around fads or diets, but an enjoyable long-term approach to eating. Create a personalized plan that works for you with Blue Apron's ever-changing mix of plant-forward, vegetarian, carb-conscious, Mediterranean, diabetes-friendly, WW-approved, 500 calories or less options. Damn, that rolls off the tongue. Choose with a variety of chef-designed, ready-to-cook meals and get perfectly portioned, fresh ingredients delivered straight to your door. Busy week? Are you traveling? Blue Apron's flexible. Only order deliveries for the weeks that work for you. Let Blue Apron take care of meal planning so you can enjoy a healthy lifestyle. Beginning of your new year is a great time to reevaluate your life. Blue Apron believes a healthy lifestyle starts with a balanced relationship with food, knowing exactly what goes into each meal, because what goes into each of your meals, everything you chop, great zest here, and then put on a plate goes into your mouth. And what goes in your mouth creates a great body. This new health-conscious recipe plan features a range of flavor-packed meals made with fresh produce, lean proteins, whole grains, moderate dairy, and lots of variety. Over half their new signature menu is stacked with ready-to-cook meals designed for a healthy lifestyle. Discover 11 weekly recipes that range from grain bowls to curries to salads to stir fries. I'm telling you, man, best of all, Blue Apron helps me disconnect from my phone, discover my inner chef, and connect with my family. I've always said this. I think Blue Apron taught it to me. I stand by it. I love it. A family that cooks together, eats together, a family that eats together, lives together, and loves together. And our family is closer because of Blue Apron. Eating doesn't have to be about deprivation, people. Don't compromise on flavor or suffer through boring meals. Embrace the whole ingredients and eat with all your senses. Check out this week's menu and get $60 off when you visit blueapron.com/Bertcast. That's blueapron.com/Bertcast. Blue Apron, feed your
I know what
soul.
you mean.
So then let's
Bert.
get into, I just want to know, did you live at the apartments on
Oakwood?
Oakwood?
So not those ones. I lived at the ones in Marina Del Rey.
Oh, for real?
When I first came out in '97, I came out to do a TV show called Total Security with Jim Belushi. And I came out for that, and I stayed at the Marina Del Rey, Oakwoods, and lived there for like 4 months or so. And then the show was canceled after 13 episodes, and I decided to stay out in LA because that was my. I mean, I'd come out. I told you earlier, I did my first show in '91, and I came out, with my mom. I mean, I was a kid, and then that show was canceled, and I just went back to Jersey and lived my life, and but when I came out in '97, I was 19. I'd already dropped out of 2 colleges at that point, and came out, did the show, it was canceled. And I said, you know what? I'm here. Like, this is my shot. I gotta take it, and, I remember calling my mom being like, Ma, I'm so nervous. Cause I had it was weird stuff and, very enmeshed and like kind of, had a tough time sort of breaking from my mom.
Really?
Yeah. It was hard. Like even when I went to college, I was like living at home, and it was not healthy or good for me at that time, at that age. But I just remember feeling real guilty, like
Italian, right?
Yeah, Italian.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Italian dudes and their moms.
And I was the only son.
Yeah.
And I just remember feeling like, oh God, I'm going to make this call. Cause she knew I went out obviously I went out for the show, and she knew I was, obviously I was 19. So she knew I was going to go without her, but she still came out a bunch. She came out and visited and did the whole thing. But I was like, when I decided that I needed to stay, and I had kind of if someone on that set of that TV show that I was doing, I became friendly with, and he kind of pointed me in the direction of an apartment. An old friend of his had a room opening up, kind of thing, because I had kind of hinted at like maybe I should stay out, and he was like, dude, you totally should stay out here. Like, you're great. Like, you gotta whatever. In fact, I have a friend that has a place, and I was like, oh my God, really? And I remember sort of getting it all lined up first. I met with her. It was I had a girl roommate, Charlotte. She was awesome. And I remember asking, like, can I do month to month? Because I don't know what my deal is. I may have to, I may be back in Jersey, and who knows? I don't know. I'm going to try for pilot season, because the show was canceled in like December, January. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to test the waters for pilot season and see. She's like, yeah, sure, no problem. I can, do that for you. I was like, okay. Then called my mom and was like, Mom, here's my plan. And I remember being super nervous to tell her. She was surprisingly okay with it. I think she was a little stunned. And also, I think she just thought that I would be home soon.
Yeah.
I think she thought I would do pilot season, maybe do a pilot, and then I'd, whatever. I'd end up back. I don't think she really thought that it was going to be what it was. Not that she didn't have confidence in me, but just I don't think she just thought ahead to like.
How long is it until you booked your next thing?
So I booked a pilot.
Oh, really?
That pilot. So that was January. I came back out. I went home for the holidays and then came back out to my new apartment in January. Actually drove cross country with my old man to get my car from Jersey out to LA.
Really? What car? What kind of car?
Toyota Corolla
Okay.
with rims, tinted out.
I forgot you're from Jersey.
Yeah, dude. I even had the big muffler on the back, the whole thing.
Oh.
Dude. It was crazy. A subwoofer. Dude. And so we drove that thing cross country, man. I mean, my dad. It was great. I remember I brought a bunch of weed with me. I put a bunch of weed in a bag in the trunk, and we got pulled over in Oklahoma. And I was so fucking nervous because I was still kind of a goody two shoes with my parents, like, you know, whatever. I was pretty straight laced through high school, and this was right around the time I was starting to kind of rebel a little bit, but I still didn't want them to find out. Yeah. And so I had this bag of weed in the trunk, and we got pulled over in Oklahoma, and I was so fucking freaked out that he was gonna like search and look it through the car. I was just freaked out. I don't remember. Did he end up opening? No, he didn't open the trunk. Maybe that was just in my worst nightmare version. He opens the trunk. But anyway, made it cross country, and then started auditioning for pilots and booked a pilot right away. Like, kind of just went boom, booked a pilot. It was for NBC. It was with Jordana Brewster. And Jordana's in all the Fast and Furious movies.
I've never watched one of them.
She's great. And then this kid Sean, who's been on literally NCIS for 100 years.
Really,
great dude. And so it was the three of us, and we did the pilot. And that, you know, you find out in May, right, if it's getting picked up. And in April, I auditioned for American Pie. Well, what would become known as American Pie.
Really?
And so
you're praying it doesn't get picked up.
So it went from, oh my God, I did a pilot. Is it going to get picked up? To, oh my God, wait, if it gets picked up. I hadn't booked it yet. It was weird. I was like, so in April I auditioned, but then I was the director's first choice.
Who directed that?
Chris and Paul Weitz.
Okay.
And I was apparently their first choice, but the studio was still thinking that they wanted some names in the role. So there was this horrible waiting period, like that stretched into May. And then I remember the pilot was like close to getting picked up, or at least that's what they told us. I mean, you know, every pilot seems close to getting picked up. Every pilot I've done has been close to getting picked up, and most of them haven't. So whatever.
That pilot's always getting close to picked up. And the did I get any feedback from the casting director?
Dude.
I remember the casting director. I said to my manager one time, "Can I talk to the casting director? I'd love to get some feedback." And the casting director called me and goes, "Can I help you?" And I was like, yeah, I would love to get some feedback. She goes, "You didn't get it." And I was like, "Nobody know, but why?" And she goes, "Because you weren't right for it."
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't get any feedback. So
Nope.
wait, so you got this like period where you're like, it's close.
And then I went from being excited, like, oh my God, I'm going to get a show on the air, to then it sort of overlapped with them switching gears on casting the name, which at the time was Jonathan Taylor Thomas from Home Improvement. Remember him from Home Improvement?
Of course I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the name that they were talking about too. No, it is going to be yours. I think we're going to get an offer. And then it was like, oh God, but if the show gets picked up and it was all this crazy. It was just a weird, but awesome.
Do you remember
time.
that energy though? Cell phones were around, but they weren't like all you had was that Nokia brick one.
I had a brick.
Yeah.
I had a brick.
But do you remember that energy of like just waiting on a Tuesday night?
Oh my God, of course. I remember like waiting for the landline to ring, just like, what is going to happen? And when it would, and I don't even think I had caller ID. When it would be like, hello, you know, oh my God, yeah, it's my agent. And then if there wasn't an update, if it was just kind of like a checking in thing, it would be the worst. Just like come on.
We still haven't heard anything yet. And you're like, oh God,
God, why? Don't call.
Can you call them and find out?
Yeah. And so look, man, fate's an interesting thing, right? The show did not get picked up, and I did get them, you know, obviously we all know how the story turns out. And then, you know, and
but
so
break it. Tell me living the story. Did you think the movie was going to be any good?
The movie on paper was better than everything else I had been reading, because so in addition to the, you know, pilot season, then I'm also auditioning for that was the, you know, teen movie sort of peak. That was the golden age of teen movies, man.
What else did you audition for that you
dude,
didn't
everything.
get?
There was this movie. Well, I think She's All That. I think I auditioned for
10 Things I Hate About You.
I did.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I auditioned for 10 Things I Hate About You. I auditioned for, there's this movie Get Over It, which became Get Over Allison, which was with Kirsten Dunst. Oh, she's in my class. Kirsten.
Oh, yeah?
I'd say she was at the same time. I mean, she was a kid actor as well. She was, in Interview with the Vampire and stuff. But then, around that time, we were all kind of all in the same movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we all had 1 degree of separation. If not, we worked with each other.
And did you guys like hang out at parties? Did you see guys?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like at your class, was there like a bar you went to? Like I remember Guys was really hot at that time. Do you remember Guys?
Guys bar, yeah. Guys was hot.
I got into a fight with Devin Sawa.
Devin Sawa, yeah.
Devin Sawa.
Yeah.
And Stu Stone.
Stu.
I had Stu on my podcast.
That's Jamie's boy, right?
Yeah.
Are they still tight?
Yeah, very. Yeah, they came and did the podcast, and
like Stu.
and we screened maybe the hardest I've ever laughed at anything, which is you cannot do anymore. Obviously, that you were in is the episode you were in where they were in blackface.
Oh my god, dude!
It's the fucking. I still to this day cannot. And they came over, they screened it, we watched it here, we recorded it on a podcast, us watching. And Jamie's like, I've got the only copy, and no one's getting this. And Stu at one point said, "We'll give you a copy if you promise not to show anyone." I went,
I can't make
do
that
it.
promise.
I go, don't give me the thing, because I guarantee first person I'm showing it to is Segura, because I know he would cry. I used to have that on my DVR, and I would play it when people came to my house, just so that people could watch it. I go, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I remember that, dude. Yeah, you could not do that now. That's so funny.
The best is Jamie Kennedy looked like Daryl Strawberry, and they gave Stu Stone all the leftover pieces.
Yes.
So like didn't even look like it looked like the weirdest black guy ever.
It was so weird.
Oh, but just keep going. So, but like you guys would all see each other out.
Yeah, we'd see each other around a little bit. I mean,
were you partying at the time?
It started to ramp up. So at that point though, when that first summer where I'm auditioning for all of these teen movies and stuff, I really didn't know a lot of people. Knew my roommate. She was a lot older than me. We didn't really go out much. We didn't hang much. And then it wasn't until I shot American Pie that summer that I started to hang with that group, but then also kind of settled in to LA a little bit more and found some other friends who are still my friends to this day. So
in the business or just regular people?
Both regular and
Wait, who are your friends that are in the business? Like
well, so from that movie, Eddie K. Thomas, who played Finch,
so fucking good.
He's one of my best friends. So
for real?
Yeah. So he and I
had a great sitcom.
Called Till Death, that was on for a while.
He had a great sitcom.
Then he just did Scorpion for a few years. He's actually doing my show this week. He's guesting on it.
We got to talk about your show.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's but he and I knew each other from New York. He was a kid actor in New York as well, and we knew each other, but we didn't really hang out. In fact, I shouldn't say we did not hang out. We would see each other on auditions, and then I was always the kid that would go home to New Jersey. You know, my mom get back in my mom's minivan and drive in Lincoln Tunnel traffic back to Jersey. And he was a city kid, so he got to hang with all the other city kid actors and go smoke weed and have fun and be friends. So I knew him, would say what's up on auditions. But wasn't until the American Pie table read that it was like, what's up, dude? Hey, I guess we're doing this thing together finally after, seeing each other for 15 years.
How cool.
Yeah. And then boom, best friends. And so he still to this day is one of my best friends. And then
it's so weird because everyone knows who my friends are, but like I know your wife, but that's it. I know that you guys were friends with Chelsea.
Yeah, we're friends with Chelsea. We hang with her a bit. Yeah, I mean,
don't tell her, but I called her a cunt on my special.
I won't tell her that. It's fine. She knows she's a cunt. Yeah, I mean, in the business, my friends are. Oh, I moved to New York as well, so it's a little. But in New York, my buddy Justin Bartha moved. Yeah, he and I moved.
Justin Bartha, I know that guy.
Hangover and.
Oh my God, Justin Bartha. Justin Bartha has my favorite fucking interview that's ever been done.
Wait, which one? The New York Knicks?
No.
What?
Justin Bartha, if you please share this with him. I learned so much from this dude in this one interview. He goes in to do Ron Bennington. He's promoting American National Treasure.
Yeah.
National Treasure 2.
Yep.
He's promoting National Treasure 2. And he comes in, and the energy is weird in the room.
Who's Ron Bennington? Should I know?
Oh.
Sorry.
He is the greatest radio guy ever. He's got a Sirius XM show called The Bennington Show, but he's out of Tampa. I grew up on Ron and
Okay.
Ron. That was like our show growing up.
Okay.
All my colloquial comedy speak is from that show. I mean, just I still talk like listeners from that show. So he was big with Opie and Anthony. You remember Opie and Anthony?
Yeah, of course.
He was big with Opie and Anthony. It would go Opie and Anthony.
I have an
then
Opie
Ron.
and Anthony story for you when you're done.
Oh my God. So then it would go Ron Bennington. Justin Bartha comes in. Please share this with him.
Okay.
Because I want him to know I'm driving on the Grapevine to do Sacramento, the Sacramento Laughs Unlimited.
Uh-huh.
I'm making $700 for the weekend, and I'm driving up over the Grapevine, listening. And Justin Bartha comes in, and he's got a little Hollywood air to him. He's like, what's up? How we doing? Fun, kind of. And they're like,
Yeah.
and then sits down. They're like, so tell us about your movie. He goes, it's a movie. What are you gonna say? It's big budget, national treasure, Nick Cage and Ron.
That sounds exactly like Justin. Go ahead.
Ron Bennington goes, by the way, you're gonna love this story. Ron Bennington goes, so tell me about the movie, and he's just still kind of deflecting a little bit. And Ron goes, is this happening? And they're all like, I don't know. It seems awkward in here. And then Justin's still playing around, like he's like, yeah, it's a little awkward, yeah, it's a little like. And Ron goes, you know what? I don't have to do this. I've been doing it too long. I'm done. Thank you very much. Justin Bartha goes, I'm sorry? And he goes, I'm done. I don't have to do this. Your fucking publicist says you're a good guy. You come in, you do a whole thing about your coat. You're kind of an asshole. I don't want to do this. Just leave. And Justin Bartha goes, I thought we were just screwing around. And he goes, no, I'm not. I'm being very clear. I don't want to do an interview with you. Justin Bartha says, I messed up. Can we start over? And Ron goes, I don't know if we can. And Justin goes, give me a chance. And he's like, okay. So they start talking, and it was the most accountable human being I've ever heard. And then they have this great fucking interview where Justin just went in and said, hey man, I don't know how to do these things. I'm not a fucking radio guy. You guys are busting balls. I tried to bust balls. It came off wrong, but I'm a good guy and I'm not trying to be a dick. And it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I'm on the car. I pulled over. There's a Chevron when you're driving over the Grapevine. I pulled over and I didn't want to lose the signal and was listening. I'm like, who is this guy, Justin Bartha? I have followed Justin Bartha's career my whole fucking life because of this one goddamn interview that he probably does not remember.
I bet you he does.
It was fucking awesome.
That is an amazing story, and that is very Justin. That's, I mean, you did that. Yes,
It was like you learn lessons from men in life that didn't mean to teach you a lesson, but you learn it. An executive producer one time, there's like these. I'm saying in like small bites. An executive producer one time, I showed up. We were shooting in Amsterdam. We'd all partied the night before. I show up, call time's like 10 o'clock, and it's like 10:05 in the morning, and I get down to the van, and he's the only one there. He's sitting in the van. And I said, hey, what are you doing here? And he said, call time's 10. If you're not early, you're late. And I went, oh.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but you're the executive producer. And he goes, yeah. And I got a call sheet just like everyone else. If you're not early, you're late. And I thought, this guy's making all the money on this show, and he's waiting in the van. I will never make someone wait for me in a van ever again.
Yeah.
Those little things. His accountability in that, his willingness to throw away the air of a celebrity, the air of everything, and be a man and say, hey guys, I fucked up and I want to start over. I just was like, hey, you can always be very real.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to, like he could have very easily just been like, fuck you guys and walk out.
Yeah.
I don't need to do the show. He didn't do that.
Yeah.
And man, I followed that guy's career because of that shit.
That's incredible. That Justin definitely, and he knows this. He's so self-aware, but he's also insecure like all of us. Like he's also he's a bit of a he's got a bit of a curmudgeon-y side, but he's very accountable and very honest, very, very honest. But he also, he can be a tough first sip. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
He's, like I'm like, sometimes it's like, okay, Justin, that's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's an impression maybe that's made, but he is one of my favorite people for the reason you just said.
Yeah.
And he is one of the funniest guys I know, but he's very real. And, he and I moved to New York at the exact same. We both had a kid, our first kid in LA, and we both moved to New York at almost the exact same time. Not together or on purpose, just kind of parallel lives. We're very similar. I would put him in my class. You know, he graduated NYU around the time we were doing the first. You know, we were already done American Pie, so we were already out here, but he came out right after, and you know, I auditioned for National Treasure. You know, it's like we sort of flip flop who's getting what and who's casting what. But yeah, that's a great story. That sounds exactly like Justin.
So
he does this thing. He's got like this little bit, you know, and it's like a little like it's just a little thing he does that feels a little like pretentious or a little bit of an air, and it's like, but he's just like he's a fucking teddy bear. Yeah, and I love him. So Opie and Anthony.
Yeah.
So I'm doing The Graduate on Broadway in 2002, and Opie and Anthony was kind of peak Opie and Anthony. And we are doing the show, and it was a night performance, and there's a scene. So it was Kathleen Turner, Alicia Silverstone, and myself. We were sort of it was Mrs. Robinson and Anne. What was the other character? What was Alicia? You know, the younger, I don't know. Anyway, and myself, and Kathleen got naked every night on stage. You know, to her credit, God bless her. Every night she would just drop trow, drop it all.
I don't know what it looks like, but regardless, I'd pay to see it.
People paid to see it, you know, and I mean, it's actually it's like a horrible story, really, but
no good. This is.
I mean,
but by the way, there's never been a happy Opie and Anthony story,
no,
including the story of Opie and Anthony.
Yeah, exactly right. So. All of a sudden, you know, it's theater, and like, you know, everyone is quiet and watching and engaged. And what we would hear often because there were still people, even though half the audience paid because, you know, were there because they had heard that Kathleen got naked, the other half didn't know. They were like, oh, The Graduate, cool, or they came to see Alicia or me or whatever it was. And so almost every performance there'd be a few gasps, you know, like. You know, you'd hear that sometimes. That came to be expected. This one night, she drops her clothes, and I'm the only one on stage with her. It's me and her, and she drops her clothes, and I immediately turn downstage, like to look out at the audience, you know, like look away from her, and she's upstage of me, completely naked, facing the audience, and she drops her clothes, and it's like silent, and I have the next line, and. Before I had a chance to get my line out, you just hear from the back of the theater, so loud, screaming, "Hey, Kathleen, put your goddamn clothes back on." And it was, I know that feeling for me, by the way. I can't imagine what it was like for Kathleen. It was so jarring and so shocking that, like, you literally, like, we were the ones, like, I gasped. I was like, I didn't know, you just kind of fucking freeze.
Yeah.
It was so crazy. And then I was just like, I have a line. You know, like I got the line out, and then we just fucking carried on. And the scene was, and then the first act ends like a scene later. And then all of us are backstage like, oh my God, what happened? And Kathleen kind of went to her dressing room and retreated. And we're like, is she okay? And all this stuff. They're like, did you find the guy? We escorted him out. Yeah, the whole thing, security got him. Turns out it was a guy doing it for Opie and Anthony. I don't know if it was an employee of Opie and Anthony, or I think they might have did a contest. Like, you know, hey, if someone wants to, you know, go, I'll give you some dough if you go, and, you know, and it was gnarly, dude. That was my kind of introduction to Opie and Anthony.
Did you ever do Opie and Anthony?
I did not. No, not because I was like, fuck you. I just never.
Opie and Anthony was. It's one of those things. It's like, if you were a fan of the show, I was a fan of the show. There were parts where you just would cringe, be like, ugh. It's so much better when you guys are, well, like, I think every single one of them would admit it, but there were like times where you'd be like Anthony or Opie threw dominoes at someone. Like there were times, but then there were times when they were all sitting with comics and it was just fucking genius.
Yeah.
Like the back and forth. But I mean, obviously they got kicked off of fucking air for having anal sex at St. Pat's.
Yeah.
Or St. Catherine's, whatever. But I was never a fan of that. I was never a fan of that kind of shit. Like with it, whenever, this is gonna sound really narcissistic, I'm sure, but whenever they'd fuck with reporters, I had a TV show on Travel Channel at the time, and I was always trying to interview people, man on the street, and I always had people doing that to me. Bro, I almost lost my shit 1,000 fucking times. So every time when someone would go like, "O&A party rocks," I'd always be like, "God damn it, you have no idea what you just did to a guy who's trying to get through a fucking
Like an
day
interview.
of work."
Yeah.
I mean, so much so that there's an interview of me online. I was going to hike Runyon, or not Runyon, but another hill right around here. And this young lady, probably 23, is for channel CBS News. It's across the board. It's going to be on all CBS News. And she's trying to interview people about sunglasses. Doing an interview in LA, doing like a man on the street, getting someone on air in LA is fucking impossible, because if you're famous, they can't you're not going to, it's not going to work. And if you are a nobody, you take it as an affront that they don't know who you are. It's like, it's the weirdest thing. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm in SAG, I can't do that. And you're like, no one knows who the fuck you are. Just give her the fucking interview.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, it's such a weird thing. So I'm watching people give this woman a hard time, and I just go over and I go, "Hey, I have sunglasses on. I'd love to do your interview." She was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to give you the interview of a fucking lifetime."
Yeah.
So I reposition myself. I say, "We're in dappled sunlight right now, and you're not going to be able to use this interview."
Look at
I said,
you.
"We need to get out
That's
in full sun
amazing.
or full shade." And I'd assume being in the sun, since we're talking about sunglasses. She's like, yeah, maybe we should do that.
Oh, you made her day.
And I was like,
man.
"Great." I go, "Give me your first question." I replied with her question with the beginning of the, like, used her question in my answer. And then I just went on and talked about sunglasses growing up in Florida. I have super sensitive eyes. When I was a kid, I give her everything she ever fucking needed. And I was
That's
like, "God,
amazing.
you forget." Yeah.
They ran it for a whole week. They cut it into pieces. They ran
They did.
every night. It was like, and let's go to our sunglasses report.
People would call me and be like, "Yo, man, I'm in Virginia. What the fuck are you doing on my news?"
That's
I was like, I
hilarious.
loved it, because I was like, I've been there so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So wait, let's talk about partying, because you guys after? No, wait. First off,
Mhm.
American Pie comes out.
Yeah.
What's that feel like? You became famous.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. But to incorporate also a previous question that we didn't really answer, and it'll slide right into this part, which is, did I have a feeling it was going to be something? And that summer, I was reading and auditioning for everything, and that script was the only one that I was like laughing out loud to. And that was the first, by the way, I would have taken happily any part in any movie at any time. Yes, please.
Yeah.
But that one, after I read that one, and particularly that for Jim, I was like, oh my God, this is the one I fucking want. Like, this is it. This is the one.
Funniest script I ever read. I
Mhm.
swear to God, it's not on the screen. It did not show up on the screen quite as well. Dude, Where's My Car?
I believe that. I read that too.
I fucking,
Yep.
when Alyssa Milano comes in, it was just such a fucking
Great. It was
crazy, fucking hilarious script. And then I watched it and I was like, I missed
Yeah.
a little bit for me.
Yeah, but I remember that. I remember reading that script as well. Ashton Kutcher's and all those that 70s guys. Because actually, that's funny. When that first pilot season, the other pilot that I was close to getting, and I ended up getting a different one, was that 70s show. I went in and tested over here, CBS Radford, and coming down to the wire on that 70s show. So it was like Ashton, Topher, all those guys. Which when we're still
Topher's got a podcast now.
Does he?
I think so.
I like Topher, man. He's a smart.
I met him. He seemed like a very sweet guy. I don't know. I'm horrible at that stuff. Like when I'll know someone's face and go, I know you, but I don't know what I know you from.
Right.
So was it fun to shoot the movie?
It was so much fun to shoot. We had the best fucking time.
Where did you shoot it? Canada?
No, we shot it in and around LA, Long Beach, a lot of it.
For real?
Yeah, man. In fact, we did the first 3 movies. In American Pie 3, which was American Wedding, we went up to Half Moon Bay. We shot at the Ritz-Carlton Half Moon Bay for a week. That's where we did our like wedding exterior scenes and stuff. That was the first time we had gone on location. We got fucked up on that trip. I remember drinking. Holy shit, man. It was like we had like a 7 a.m. flight up to San Francisco, LAX to San Francisco. That's like a 45-minute flight. And I was just like, Bloody Marys. We didn't have to work that day. We landed and got to go fuck around and be in the hotel and, and And it was this American Pie group. It was our third movie. We're all getting paid a shit ton of money. It's our first time on location with this group of people. And I was just like, Bloody Marys. We must have had like 5 or 6 Bloody Marys in 45 minutes. Stumbled off the plane. I remember getting into the van and making sure that we stopped for like liquor and alcohol, drinking in the van, getting to the place, getting in golf carts because it was like a golf resort up there, and literally driving around, and it's like cliffs, like 100-foot drops right down to the ocean.
There.
Beautiful, but fucking driving around on these, still wasted from the morning, driving around like skidding, like get to see who could get closest to the cliff without going over. Fucking idiots. We had fun, man. So that first movie, we partied during the movie a bit. And then it was a year. It was a year from the time we shot it to the time it came out. So it was this crazy, that was probably the craziest time for me because we knew we had this movie. We had the best time doing it. We shot it. We were like, this could be something. I mean, it's like the pie, like what the fuck? We did some crazy shit. We're like, feels better than all this other shit that I'm paying money to go see or that I auditioned for. But we still didn't really know. And so like a few months passed and I'm still like in LA auditioning, but I remember it was a couple kind of crazy things happened during that year. I got offered, speaking of Jonathan Taylor Thomas, this is funny. I got offered like a 3 or 4 episode arc on the final season of Home Improvement. And it was for like the last 4 episodes ever or something. And I auditioned for it and booked it. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, this would be fucking cool. I've been watching Home Improvement since I was like, since my whole life in Jersey. I was like a kid growing up with this shit. Now I'm going to be on it. This is dope.
Yeah.
And my manager was like, I don't think we should do it. I was like, what? It was the first time I ever passed on anything. And I was like, wait, why? And he's like, because I think this movie is going to be something. And I don't think you need to do this, TV arc. Like, I don't want that to be the first thing. I don't want that to be our introduction for you to
very wise
to millions of people. I think that this should be the introduction. I was like, what? But the idea, dude, I 16, 17 years acting, little kid, you audition for whatever, you get the job, you fucking go and do the job.
That's why you auditioned.
Yeah. There's no passing on shit. You don't pass. It was so mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
That was my first experience with that, and it was fucking wild. That happened. I remember I got a VHS copy of the movie and watched it, obviously, and watched it with like Eddie and some of my LA friends, because at that point I started to get like a group of LA friends and stuff, and thinking it was good, like, okay, this is pretty funny. But it wasn't until I went home to Jersey that Christmas and saw my high school friends who were now in their sophomore year of college. Everyone came home over Christmas and I had this VHS and they knew I was like shooting a movie out in LA. But again, I had shot movies before when I was in high school with them. I'd like gone and done a movie and they were like, Biggs, what is that movie? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it'll come out. It was like, it would never come out. It would just be, so they were like, oh, Biggs, so that movie you did last summer, what is it? It was still called like East Great Falls High or something at that point.
Oh, for real?
They were like, is that shit ever coming out? And I was like, no, I really think it is. It's like a real studio. It was Universal. And I was like, it's a real movie, I think, guys. And then I got the copy of the tape and I brought it home to show them that Christmas. And we went down into my buddy Eric's basement, and it was like a group of 10 of us, our sort of guy group and girl group all came together. It was like Christmas Eve maybe or something, and to watch this movie. And I sat there with them watching it, and I was so fucking nervous. So nervous, because these are the people I'd grown up with, all ball busters, super funny.
Yeah.
Nothing is off the table in terms of making fun of you or, whatever there was. Like, and I was just super like, oh my God, is this, like I do some weird fucking shit. Like, I think it's funny, but what if they like look at this and they're like, what the fuck did you do? And I was just super nervous. And they watched the movie and they start laughing, early, but the pie scene was where I was really like, dude, what the fuck, is this gonna blow up in my face or not? And pie scene happens, that first shot of me fucking the pie, and there's like this pause, this like silence amongst my friends, and all of a sudden, one by one, they all bust out laughing, just like lost it. Like, holy fuck, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Are you fucking serious, Biggs? That is insane. I don't know to this day if I've ever felt such like relief. Like that was such a moment for me. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And you know, not just because they were my friends, also it was our fucking demo. These are sophomores in college, right? Who are all off like, who
you want to enjoy the movie is your friends, and they're fucking loving it.
I was like, holy shit, man. And so that happened. And then soon after that was the release of the Red Band trailer. So, you know, now everything's internet. It's not, we're anesthetized. It's like, but at the time, and there was internet, but it wasn't, you know, like it is now.
I remember, yeah. It was dial-up.
Like chat rooms. Yeah. And there was like chat rooms. There wasn't like, you know, whatever. So it kind of did go quote unquote viral in for as much as it could at the time, but it was really word of mouth. They put a Red Band trailer out in the theater. So
I don't know what Red Band. I know my friend's Red Band, but I don't know what Red Band is.
So you go to a movie theater, boom, a green thing. The whole screen turns green with it writing. It says the following preview has been rated, PG for all the things, and it's green. You don't even realize. You just go, oh, it's a green thing, and then it's boom into the Dr. Dolittle trailer, or it's boom into the Star Wars trailer. So Red Band means that the trailer itself is rated R, that the trailer itself is restricted and can only be shown before certain movies. So
shit.
And it's almost never done. So when people saw a Red Band trailer, it fucking stood out. And there was the reason it was Red Band was because they decided rather than save it for the movie, you know, they would show a quick shot of me fucking the pie, figuring that would buzz it up.
And
it fucking worked. People started talking about it. People were like, yo, did you see that Red Band trailer? Oh my God, you see that movie with dude fucking a pie?
Oh my God, I'm such a fucking idiot.
What?
I am such a fucking idiot.
You remember it?
No. I'm going to say this and you're going to go, seriously, Bert? I didn't realize the movie's called American Pie. I have no fucking.
Wait, what?
I didn't realize. It just clicked to me that.
Come on.
I swear to you on my fucking children. I swear to God. Oh my God. I never associated the title with that scene. I swear to you on my children. As you said that, I went, why wouldn't you put it in? The name of the movie is American Pie. You were saying it's being called East High School.
Yeah, but when they put out the trailer, they had changed the name finally.
But of course they call it American Pie. Of course they put that scene in the Red Band trailer.
Yep.
I can't believe I never put two and two together.
Yeah. I remember getting the call that they were, because it was like, yeah, it changed. First of all, the original script, the title was Untitled Teenage Sex Comedy that studios will probably hate, but we think you will love, that can be made for under $10 million. That was the original WGA certified title that the script went out with. So already it was like, that was the first, that was the script that I got for this movie. So already from the title, I go, this is fucking cool. What the hell is this movie? So then it changed to like East Grand Rapids High. And then they didn't want to actually, because that's where the writer went, was East Grand Rapids. And that's where it took place. But then they had to change it for legal reasons to a made up name. So it was East Great Falls High. Then it was just Great Falls. And then finally it was American Pie.
Wait, when did that, who named it that?
So apparently it was Paul Weitz who came up with it. Paul Weitz, one of the directors. And then there was a whole thing with like, there was another movie called American Pie that was made the year before with, you ready for this? This is the craziest fucking bit of trivia. Eugene Levy was in it.
Are you
was
serious?
In a movie called American Pie that's not actually American Pie. And they like did a whole thing. They changed the name of that, or it never came out, or something happened that they had to like kind of clean that up. And then I think there might have been something with Don McLean and his song.
That's immediately what I was thinking of when I heard American Pie. I went, wholesome American. It's a piece of America. I swear to God until you said, and now I know that there's a fucking dickhold pie on the cover.
Yeah.
I know that, but I just never thought
That's so
American
funny.
Pie.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So anyway, so all of those things, now the red band, and now there's kind of a bit of a buzz. And so I think your question was, did we know that it was going to be, and at that point we started to like think, okay, this could really be something. And then they changed the release date. It was originally going to be like in April, which is, kind of a weird zone. They were like, we want this to come out in the summer. And they picked a weekend in the summer, and then it got closer, and then another movie moved away from us apparently because all of these little signs started happening that we were like, oh fuck, man, this is this could be a big fucking deal.
That was the movie of the summer.
Yeah, and then
I must have seen it in June of '99.
No, July.
It must have been in July. Yeah. I got my deal in June. I got my deal in June. I probably met Will in July.
Oh, so you saw an advance copy with Will.
I probably saw, well, no, I mean, I got my deal in June is all I remember, and I don't remember exactly when I met Will, but it was that summer of '99. That's when I moved out to LA, in right after that.
Yeah, so we opened against Will with, do you know the movie?
Wild Wild West.
Correct, and we beat him.
Oh fuck! I guarantee you, I saw an advance copy.
Because that's why he was watching it, right?
Yeah, I guarantee it. Because Wild Wild West hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
And on my first flight out to LA, Wild Wild West came out, and I made a joke to someone who worked with Will, and they said, how was your flight? And I said, not bad. Wild Wild West was on it. And they're like, really? I was like, yeah, I was hoping for the plane to go down. And I was a joke because I'd seen Wild Wild West in the movie theater, and they were like, do not say that to Will. And I was like, oh, I was just kidding. I'm not going to say it. They're like, no, just don't bring it up. And I was like, oh, yeah, I promise I won't.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Yeah. That's
So
so crazy. When I said I watched it with Will.
You know what it might have been? It was either its first, it might have been its second week, whatever it was. We either knocked it off or we beat it head to head. It would either we both opened the same. I think we both opened the same weekend and we beat it. I think that's what it was.
That's crazy.
Oh, no. Yeah, that is what it was. And so here's what happened. We opened number 1 against Wild Wild West. The following week, Eyes Wide Shut came out, and open number 1, we were number 2. And then the third week, and this, I guess at that time had either never happened or rarely happened, we went back to number 1. Because at that point, the word of mouth had gotten so crazy. So in our third week, we ended up back at number 1, which was kind of fucking crazy. So yeah, dude, that first Saturday, came out Friday night, Saturday morning. At this point, I'm not living with that girl anymore. I have another buddy of mine, not in the industry, who we had become tight, and we had a place in Santa Monica, and we were walking from the apartment to go get bagels or something, and we had to cross Wilshire Boulevard, and we come to the light to the crossing, and the car stops at the red light, and we start walking across. And the car beeps, and then these dudes hang their heads out the window, and they're like, "Oh my God, dude, do the dance, referring, I would assume, to the dance they did with Nadia.
Yeah.
This was 12 hours after the movie opened.
Oh,
this was the next morning from Friday night.
That's
next
crazy.
morning. I mean, my buddy, we're just kind of we both were just like, the fuck? And we walked to get bagels, and there was it was just this surreal kind of thing where I knew and he knew, and I think he said dude, your life, that's it. It's not going to be the same. This is the moment. This is the day.
Let's talk about timeline. I'll get you out of here. I don't want.
Dude, I'm fine.
Okay,
I'm totally fine.
Talk
I got plenty of time.
Let's talk timeline of when things changed legit. So you're in an apartment with your buddy.
Yeah.
How soon until you buy your own house or move in by yourself?
So that was 99, July of 99. I get my first movie offer within the month. I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
So you get a movie offer within a month.
Yeah, and I'm filming within 2 or 3 months.
What movie is this?
I actually did 2 movies at the same time. Boys and Girls with Freddie Prinze Jr. And Loser with Mina.
Mina
Savari. Sorry, Mina
Mina
Savari.
Savari?
Well, Mina was in American Pie.
Okay, yeah.
She played Heather in American Pie. So now I'm doing this other movie with her, but we didn't really work together in American Pie. I mean, we did, but we didn't.
Yeah.
She wasn't my love interest. And so now I'm doing these 2 movies, and this was crazy. So I go from, having like no money in the bank, not knowing if I'm ever going to work, to having this movie come out. I'm casting these 2 other movies,
And they're greenlit because of you.
and they're greenlit because of me. And they worked out a schedule. They were both filming at the exact same time, and so they worked out this thing where they were filming. One was in Toronto and New York, and the other one was in San Francisco and LA a little bit. And there were, I would say, about 5 times during the filming of these 2 movies where the studio paid to fly me in a private jet by myself from one set to the other coast to wake up and go to the next set. I was 21 going, this is absolutely bananas. What has happened? Like, it was just so weird and mind-boggling to me. I remember, so the movie with Boys and Girls was actually part of a deal. Actually, okay, so I actually signed a 2-picture deal with Harvey Weinstein at Miramax Dimension, but right before American Pie came out. So to his credit, Harvey was like, dude, you're gonna fucking be something, and I want to fucking lock you down. And I signed a 2-picture deal with him.
Put that for someone working, like, you don't have to say like numbers, but put that in perspective.
6 figures.
Six figures.
Mid 6 figures for 2 movies. I was like, what the fuck? I'd gotten scale for American Pie. I was like, dude, yeah, of course. And it was like to be determined movies, by the way. And then the first one right after American Pie came out that he wanted me to do was this movie called Boys and Girls. It was a supporting role to Freddie,
which you're like, I'm gonna say in my head, you go, fuck yes,
yeah, of course,
okay, doesn't hit. If it's not a hit, no harm, no foul.
1,000,000%.
I just get to love acting.
1,000,000%. And it was a fucking funny role. I killed it. Like, the movie was not good. My experience in it was great. I came in, I fucking killed it. But what was interesting was, at the same time I'm doing the supporting role in Boys and Girls, I'm flying in private jets the other way, to do the lead role in this movie, Loser, directed by Amy Heckerling.
I saw Loser. What was it? I saw Loser. I remember the poster too.
Yeah, it's like me,
like
with
going like
weird
this.
hat with the L in my forehead. Yeah.
What were you? Were you Canadian or something?
Dude, I don't. Midwestern, like weird. Dan Aykroyd played my dad. I don't know, man. The whole thing was weird, but I was just like, holy shit, this is absolutely bonkers. And I remember there was a day where I had a fly at night in a private jet from Toronto to San Francisco, and I like landed in San Francisco, whatever time, and went right to set. And I remember being with Freddie on set that day, and it was like between takes, and we were shooting the shit. It was like me, him, and the director. And he was like kind of aware that I was doing something else, but he was, the lead of this movie, and he was doing his own thing. And so I would kind of come and go because I was supporting anyway. So I just remember talking to him, and he was like, what are you doing? You have off, you working tomorrow, whatever the conversation was. I got to, oh no, I have to get back to, I'm flying right from set. I got to go back to Toronto to film tomorrow in Toronto. And he was like, oh, well, I think we're going to be done super late here. Like, what time is your flight? And I had told him, well, there's a jet waiting for me. And he was like, what? Like, he was like, wait, what the fuck? You have a jet waiting for you? Like, I was just his supporting, like, dude, I've never done, I was like the American Pie kid, but, he was Freddie. He was already like, dude, he was Mr. Teen romantic comedy lead guy. He'd been doing it for a few years, making 7 figures. He was the guy. And then here's Biggs coming in, and I'm like, yeah, I got a jet waiting for me.
Did you ever fly with other people, or did you just fly by yourself?
I flew... for those back and forth, it was always by myself. It was so surreal. Me and 2 pilots. It was fucking. I was just
These
like,
pilots must have been like, who the fuck is
this guy?
Yeah.
Who's this child I'm flying? By the way, that was the other thing. I was so young. I was a fucking kid.
Yeah.
Who's this kid I'm flying around? It was so fucking weird, man. But yeah. So then my buddy and I, who shared an apartment, he was kind of a hustler and kind of had a bunch of things going on himself. And he was like, dude, we should buy a house together. You got some dough. I got some dough. Like, let's buy a house. And I was like, okay. So the first house I bought was with him.
Really?
He and I,
Did it work out?
It actually did. It actually did, if you can believe it. I know. Normally I was, and even as I went into it, because now I just gotten a business manager, because I was like, holy shit, I got this dough. And I don't, because by the way, before that, literally, even after American Pie, I remember American Pie came out, or I shot American Pie, sorry, and I made a little bit of dough. I mean, it was scale for, but it was still scale for a movie. It was like, oh, cool, man. I got like, whatever it was.
I don't even know what scale for a movie is.
At the time, it was like 50,000 or something, which is, after taxes, whatever. I mean, I put $15,000, $20,000 in the bank, maybe more, 30,000, whatever it was. And I was like, whoa, dude, this is fucking crazy. I bought the following things. I bought a queen bed. I bought a fucking big television, and I bought a Toyota 4Runner. And I remember I still had to, like, my money was still, like, my mom was still on my accounts, like from when I was a kid actor. Like, it was still the same sort of joint accounts. And I remember being at the Toyota dealership, right after American Pie, going, yeah, I want to buy this fucking car. And the guy's like, okay, here's what we could do. And I was like, yeah, okay, great, perfect, let's do it. And then he's like, okay, we just need to, and I was like, oh shit, hold on, I just gotta call my mom real quick. He's like, I need a check. And I was like, oh, yeah, of course you do. Right. You know what? Give me 1 second. And I like go and like deal with that and like have her co-sign. It was a whole fucking thing. So then anyway, I got these other movies and I was like, okay, it's time to like properly cut the cord, leave the nest. And I got a business manager and who started dealing with all that stuff.
Where was this first house?
So the first house was in Century City. And it's random, okay? And it was in this little neighborhood between just north of, it was just off of Olympic Boulevard by that Ralph's next to Fox. You know that Ralph's on Olympic?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it was right across the street from the Ralph's. This little neighborhood there. It's cute, Century City, Chevy, not quite Cheviot Hills, but whatever that is there.
Yeah.
Weird little zone. And it was like the first house right off of Olympic. So it was like loud as shit. But it was this beautiful old house, and it was already separated. It was like a duplex. So it had two different entrances, two different sides, and each was 2 stories. And so we each kind of had our own space, and we went even on it. We went halvesies on it. And then I put a little bit of money into my side. Like I redid the bathroom, and it ended up being great. Like we fucking would party there. He would come over to my side. I would go over to his. We would hang. We kind of did it up for a while. It was kind of dope.
Really?
And then we had it for maybe 2 years or so. And then I remember when I was in New York doing The Graduate, like in 2002. So that was probably 2000. So yeah, for about 2 years we had it. And then I was in New York I ended up going to New York for like a year and a half. So I did The Graduate and for like a long time. And then I did this Woody Allen movie, and I just ended up being there and renting.
I remember that Woody Allen movie. What was that called?
It's called Anything Else.
Yep.
And then while I was there, he was like, dude, I think we should sell. And I was like, okay, sure. I'm not even there. So yeah, if you want to list it. And like, we ended up making a little bit of dough.
Really?
Ended up being okay. Yeah. And we're still friends to this day. That was my first place. Then I was in New York. So now I sold this house basically in absentia. So I wasn't there, but let him sort of deal with everything. All of my shit was put into storage. And then I was in New York for like a year and a half. And then after I finished there, I came back out to LA. I just broken up with this girlfriend, and I was like a free man. I was like the first time where I was like, holy shit. And at that point, I'd signed up for now the 3rd American Pie. I mean, we did those first 3 in pretty quick succession. It was like boom, boom, boom. Like,
what was that? What was I know for rumor has it. I won't say I know for certain. I won't say that. I'm not saying for certain.
Mm-hmm.
But rumor has it that like Zach Galifianakis, and they did The Hangover.
Mm-hmm.
They got paid scale, obviously,
mm-hmm.
and then to secure them for the next one, they just gave them all $3 million. They were like, "Hey guys, here's $3 million. We had a good summer."
Yeah.
Was it like that with American Pie, where they were like, "We had a hit on our hands. We're gonna do the second one. It's time to negotiate offers."
Yeah. Here's what was interesting. What happened? So when we signed our contracts for the first one, there was a sequel clause in it. So
Really?
technically we all had kind of signed up. Now, what was interesting was because of the success of the first one, and because I feel like actors had way more leverage back then,
Yeah.
and studios were paying way more money back then in general, my agents were like, well, we're going to renegotiate that. I'm like, wait, we can't. It's contract. Like, it's, it was like, by the way, it was already a big number. It was like, I went from 50,000 to whatever, 6 figures, it was like tripled it or something. And I was like, dude, that's fucking cool. And he's like, no, we're going to do a lot better than that. And I'm like, okay, go for it. He's like, but you may have to be willing to be like, I'm not going to show up. And I was like, again, like going back to like, you're going to pass on this. I'm like, wait, what? What are you talking about? I'm going to fucking pass. So when he was like, well, you may have to like not, like, we'll see. We got to like stand firm, but we should be able to get you a lot more money. And I was like, okay, please don't upset anyone.
Yeah.
Like I really want to do this. Don't, but it worked out, man. And they were able to not only get a good paycheck there and like back end stuff, but then for the third one, I think there was even like a third clause or something that they got rid of entirely or something like that. So that when the third one came around, that's when it was like off to the races kind of thing. And so I came back to LA after being in New York for a year and a half, doing Broadway, doing the Woody Allen thing, now with this big American Pie 3 deal happening. And I was like, all right, my girlfriend and I had just broken up. I was like, it was like a good time to be in LA. And I fucking went nuts. I bought a house up in like Beechwood Canyon.
Oh,
fucking got a car, got like new car. I just got everything. It's just like,
what kind of car did you drive when you were out here?
I was an Audi when I first got. That was so I had the 4Runner, ended up bringing that back to Jersey. And you ready for this? My dad still drives it. It's
for real?
In Jersey. It's still in our fucking driveway. My dad still drives it. 1999 Toyota 4Runner Limited. Hunter Green.
That's so crazy. My wife's dad still drives. We bought when we first got married, my wife, I had a Navigator. I've been someone that has always pissed away money.
Yeah.
I had a business manager call me and ask me if I was sick one time.
Oh my God.
I was like, what? And he's like, is there something you want to tell me? Like, are you sick?
You're spending money like you're going to die in
yeah.
Do you have terminal cancer?
He's like, you're tearing through money on purpose, right? And I was like, no. Do you know what I used to do to make myself happy? I'd go to Sports Chalet and the Beverly Connection and just buy stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff I didn't need.
Yeah.
I have so many basketball jerseys. I could just be like, oh yeah. I've never been good with money. That's why I don't know how much money we have. I don't look at our money. We have a meeting where they show me a graph of how much money we made compared to all the years I've been with my guy. And I just, as long as the graph's going up.
As long as the graph's
good.
going up. Yeah. Exactly.
So what was the, like, how quick was the jump from American Pie, Loser, not two guys, a girl.
Boys and girls, yeah.
Boys and girls to, hey guys, also, I'm like a legit fucking actor. Like, I'd also like to do that. Like, I understand that these are all summer blockbusters. Like, I want to do art. I want to get on Broadway. I want to do Woody Allen. Like, I mean, what was that? How did you? Because when I saw you in Woody Allen, I remember being like, oh, what's he doing in a Woody Allen? Like, oh, and then like the conversation came up. Oh, he's like from New York. Like, he's like he's like a legit actor. I think I was working with Louis C.K. That weekend, and what was that? 2002. Maybe
3. No. You're right. Yeah, I shot it in like 2002, 2003. Yeah, 2003.
I was working with Louis C.K. in 2004, and Woody Allen was a huge influence of his.
Yeah. Yep.
And I brought up that, and Louis was like, no, he's like an actor. There are people that act in sitcoms that can also act.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're compartmentalizing what you see as movie stars versus actors.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so how did that transition go?
Oh, it's funny that my reps, first of all, were pretty great. They were super conscious of my path. Like, they were all,
same reps you came out to LA with?
No, that's the thing. So I got all new reps out here in LA, but they were all
CAA?
No, it was it was Innovative Artist for a while, and Management 360, and then it was UTA.
Management 360?
Yeah.
Cotty used to work at Management 360. Yeah. Are you serious? Did you
I'm still with them. Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Wait, who is Management 360 now?
So it's like, the big names there, of course, because of Game of Thrones, are Gaiman, Cassidy, and Gaiman, Cassidy. Then there's
It doesn't matter. Doesn't
Anyway,
matter.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
losing people.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
wait. So yeah.
So they but they knew about my past. They knew that I was more than just like this like goofy teen comedy kid. I felt like they always, and I was very clear that I wanted to do more than that. But the problem, of course, was that the more of those I did, the harder it became. And then in 2003, I had the Graduate came up, and I was like, I want to do that so badly, and I had
Perfect casting.
but I had to go through the whole thing, man. Like that was not a like, oh yeah, he's a legit actor. I know him from whatever. He's done Broadway before. It was like, oh okay, he's the American Pie kid. Like we got to see it, you know. And I was more than happy to. I went in and I. Speaking of an audition, man, I prepared for that audition. I was living in LA at the time, but the audition was in New York, and I flew myself to New York. And I remember on that flight just fucking eating those sides up, just like ingesting them. This is my fucking part. I'm going to kill this fucking audition. There's not one syllable I'm going to get fucking wrong on this audition. And I went in, I landed, had I think one night, you know, and then the next morning.
Not to derail, but when you prepare for an audition, do you call up an acting coach? Do you have a friend you read it with, or you just memorize the lines?
I just memorized the lines.
Oh, I've been doing this so wrong.
You know, but that's not to say that I couldn't use help from somebody.
No.
You know,
Keep
like
going.
I just for me, I've always been. It's funny you actually asked that, because Jenny, who's not acting anymore, but who, when I met her, she was an actress, and she did go to theater school, and she does read with people, and she does collaborate. And for me, from the time I was 5, it was like, okay, Jason, you have an audition. And my mom would, get the facts of the audition pages, movies like, I auditioned for fucking everything, man. Big, Leap of Faith, Addams Family. I just countless, the Brady Bunch movie, all these fucking, the fax machine. My mom had a fax machine just so that I could get these sides sent to me from my agent in New York, and I would just pull them out of the fax machine, and I just go in my bedroom by myself. My mom wasn't gonna I just did them, and so I just trained very early, like just kind of. I just have my thing, that how I do it, and it's very singular and by myself. And so, but Jenny, like I'd get an audition, I'd be like, babe, I have an audition. She's like, oh, let's read it. And I'm like, I don't know. But now I've loosened up a bit. I will read with her to make sure that I know my shit. And, but I still, for the most part, then she'll like give me a note, and I'll be like, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You got to go away. Nope. Sorry. I got something else in my head, and that just fucked it up, and bye. I got to go. But anyway, so that was, yeah. So I still had to like prove it, man. It's funny. Like the more of those movies that I did, and the more sort of famous I got, and the richer I got, and the all those early 2000 years when I was a fucking like legit dude in movies. It just was also at the same time, making it harder for me to do these other things. If there was like a dramatic role, sometimes they'd be like, no, we don't even want to see him. I'd be like, no, guys, really, I could do it. Please let me go in. And I had to fight for a lot of that shit. Not complaining. No, right?
It doesn't.
And I have no regret. People are like, oh, do you regret? Do you think, I mean, Heath, Ledger, he fucking did 10 things, and then he was like, I ain't doing that movie again. I'm not going to do that kind of movie again. Now, I'm not comparing myself to Heath. Heath is one of the best actors of my generation. But there was a conscious decision on his part. He could have kept doing fucking movies like that. He could have become Matthew McConaughey doing all those romantic comedy things, Fool's Gold and all the whatever.
Oh, yeah,
Fool's Rush In,
yeah.
all that shit. He could have made gazillion dollars right out of the bat doing all that shit. And he was like, nope, sorry. That's not my fucking bag. I want to do this shit.
I want a cowboy to spit on his dick and put it in my ass. Such an aggressive scene.
Dude.
Such an aggressive fucking scene.
Crazy.
But like, by the way, the way my brain works artistically, put me in a fucking hole and I'll stay in that hole my whole life. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. But
like, I don't need to be, I can just, like, I don't need to ever prove myself seriously.
But you're hitting on something as well, which I was just going to get to, which is even though I know I can do that other thing, I feel confident. And, you know, and then The Graduate came up. It wasn't as much, oh, you know, I got to do that because I don't want to just be known as this guy. I got to prove something over here. It was more like, oh, The Graduate's a fucking great role. I would love to be on
Yeah.
Broadway again. I haven't been on Broadway in 10 years. Oh my God, this role is fucking killer. It was never like a real conscious effort on my part, because I was super happy doing Saving Silverman and fucking Loser and
forgot
all
about
those
Saving
things,
Silverman.
you know? But like, I was stoked.
Jack
on-
Black was in that, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't who was the
Steve Zahn.
Steve Zahn, and then the chick was that fucking
Amanda
smoke
Peet.
show.
Amanda Peet.
God damn it, she
Yeah.
is so fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Amanda Detmer was the other girl. It was
Amanda
a cool cast.
Detmer's
yeah.
gorgeous. They're all fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Whoop. Whoop is the best fitness tracker out there and collects physiological data 24/7 to provide the most accurate and actionable understanding of your body. It measures things like resting heart rate variability, sleep recovery, and strain. This mountain of data is analyzed by Whoop's algorithm that then pluck out the most important factors to help you change your daily behavior. Some of you might remember the role Whoop played in our Sober October challenge this year when I wore it the whole month to see the impact that no booze, no bud, no nothing lifestyle had on my body. And in those 30 days, I was blown away by what Whoop told me about sleep. I do not sleep enough. As a matter of fact, on the road, I was averaging such little sleep, it bothered me. The real-time feedback and recommendations on how to live a better lifestyle, life in general are incredible. I still wear mine today. I don't have it on. It's charging right now. I swear to God, it's charging. Whoop works with the best, from the NFL to CrossFit to the Navy SEALs, but the insights apply to all of us. See how your body responds to stress, good and bad, and then adjust to make tomorrow better than yesterday. Think about the differences it'll make in knowing not only how your body feels every day, but why it feels that way, with the data about sleep, strain, and recovery to make better decisions. Go to whoop.com right now and use the promo code BERT at checkout for 15% off your membership today.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, by the way, I'm not woke at all. You're not going to hear any wokeness out of me. I am fucking just regular. One of the things I think that's cool about what's happening in Hollywood, where they are giving women more of an opportunity to stick around. It seemed like you watch Happy Gilmore, you watch fucking Stripes, you watch any of these movies, and it feels like women were always an arm piece.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at, I don't know much about where Amanda Peet and Amanda Detmer are doing, but I remember seeing them. Nadia.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Shannon Elizabeth was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in my entire fucking life. And it seems like men have always gotten an opportunity to start a fire and let that fire build and grow for their entire career. And women got a chance to be a red hot flame for a minute, and then their time was over, and it's time for another young piece of ass.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that, like, right now, my favorite SNL cast members are all women.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I love that. And I hope that people don't hear me trying to advocate. I hope you just hear what I'm saying and going, it sucks that someone like Amanda Peet by the way, I don't really know what she did with her career, but I'm saying, like, that she's still not, I'm not watching her tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do know what you mean. It's true. I mean,
Fucking Alicia Silverstone. Fucking,
Yep.
I know what you did last summer. What's that girl's name?
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh, no. Who the other one?
Who's the other one?
The other one where the other Scream. Nev Campbell.
Yeah.
It's like the second Nev Campbell wants to do something serious and she wants to do a ballet movie,
The
everyone
ballet
writes
movie,
her
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
And it fucking, that has always irked me because, and I'll tell you why, as a mediocre looking guy, I remember thinking of the two cops from Stripes, those two women.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I'd marry both of those women.
Yeah, yes.
Like, why aren't they movie stars?
Yeah.
Fucking, like, all the women that have been in Adam Sandler movies, I would marry all of them.
Yeah. In a
Why aren't
heartbeat.
they movie stars?
Yes.
They're
totally.
the most beautiful women in the world.
Yep.
But you only
So
get like
true.
one Halle Berry. One, it's
Yep.
just so crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, Stripes makes you think of like Goldie Hawn. Like there's one of a generation.
There's one. They
give-
only gave
They allow
one.
one. They allow one.
It's like Neil Brennan had a great speech about black comedians. Dave started in a time where they only allowed one black guy to be famous at a time. Now they allow 3. But it's like there should be more. When I say diversity in projects, like do as many different projects. I think the people will watch them. I did not mean to go off on a soapbox.
No, dude.
But you were saying,
Yeah, no, I just, for
Saving
me,
Silverman, that was a
for
great
me,
movie.
it wasn't ever really about, oh God, I have to make a conscious, effort here to try to do something different, or else I'm only going to be known as this guy. I was stoked and still am stoked to be known as that guy. And by the way, now more than ever, because now that I have, it's been 21 years since the first American Pie movie, and personally, family and all, just life happened, right? And you go, holy shit, man! I'm the fact that I'm still here, right? Hanging out, talking to you, talking about a new project I'm working on, which we'll get to, is fucking incredible.
It's so against the odds.
It is so against the odds. And by the way, I knew, I'd already, when American Pie hit, I was already, and maybe this is part of the reason why I'm still here now, because when American Pie hit, I had already seen the ups and downs. I already had that TV show when I was 12 that I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm on TV, man. Holy shit, I'm Corey Haim. I'm the next fucking dude.
Yeah.
And it was canceled, and it was like, I was recognized like in my local mall for like one night, and then I was like, it was gone, and I was back to being a fucking 8th grade loser. You know what I mean? So like, I had these moments already where it was like, ego was checked. Like, fuck you, this industry is fickle, right? It's like not a guarantee. Nothing is a guarantee. So when American Pie hit, it was still like, okay, man, I might as well enjoy this shit while it's here. Did all those movies, fucking loved every second of it. And I don't know, I feel like I've just the whole time had, in different doses, at the very least, some small appreciation and gratitude that I was actually able to fucking work. That I was still getting work. Now, if you look at my sort of the last 21 years since American Pie collectively, if you look at the resume, you go, oh, you've worked, your IMDb says like every year you did something and da-da-da-da. And it's like, but the truth is, there's been some real fucking lows in there too, where like, it doesn't say this on my IMDb, but there were 40 auditions I went on in a row where they were like, nope. And you dude, that shit gets in your head. Doesn't matter how much money you got in the bank. Doesn't matter how big of the hit. In fact, if anything, because you had that fucking massive hit, it fucks with you even more.
Yeah.
So you go, oh my God, is that done? Am I never gonna, that's it? Okay, great. I know I'm lucky. I know I beat the odds here, but was that it? I got the taste, 2000 to 2003, baby. And it's like, okay, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, okay, great. But it fucks with your head, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I know I can only speak I got so comfortable with failure that any bit of success, I started bracing myself for the failure. I remember we shot, I did this man cave. So that when they built this man cave, it must have been, I don't know, 2009, 10 maybe. And they built it for me, DIY Networks did. And I was shooting Bert the Conqueror. They were building it, and Bert the Conqueror got canceled. And they told me they were canceling it as they were building this, and we were shooting it, and I was like, I didn't want to tell anyone because I was afraid they'd stop building,
Right. Yeah.
And so and we were shooting out at Knott's Berry Farms, and I giggle at this now because I know of what a snob I am, but like, they sent a town car to drive me from my house to Knott's Berry Farms and from Knott's Berry Farms back. I got a town car. This is the day the day after I found out Bert the Conqueror was fired, and I got the town car, and I thought, this was nice. I was like, this is my last town car drive. Like, I'll never be in a town car again. Like, because I'm not going to pay for this. I'm just going to drive myself. But I go, I should really enjoy this. And I was like, I like sat back, and I cracked the water, and I had a mint, and I went, I was like, this is nice, man. I'm never going to do this again.
Blew your nose just because there were tissues there.
Yeah. And then I came home, and I was like, great. And then I went and did Letterman, and I got booked to do Letterman to panel just to sit on the couch.
Okay.
Bert the Conqueror's already canceled. I know that. And so I fly out, and I take a town car to LAX to fly to do Letterman, and Travel Channel paid for it, even though my show was canceled. Flew me first class, and I thought, okay, this is the last time I'm flying first class. I should really, really enjoy this. Do Letterman, come home, have a cup of coffee sitting right there. And I had a good run. It's back to stand up. We're going to put our nose to the grindstone. Hopefully we'll make something out of this stand-up career.
Mm-hmm.
TV's over for me. And I was like, I've always had that mentality of like, it's been a good run. I say that to Tommy all the time. I go, to Tom Segura, I always go,
yeah.
I go, dude, give me like 2 more years of this. And he's like, Bert, you're going to do this the rest of your life. And I was like, no, I know, but where we're at now. And he goes, listen, man, you're working too hard to fail. Like you just keep working. Just keep working. And now I look at it and I'm like, I know that lean year feeling. I know that I feel like that's all I've ever lived.
Yeah. Part of it though, too, for me, which is tricky. And so, you know, you put your nose to the grindstone. Clearly you're a fucking hustler.
I gave up on the concept of anyone being able to change my life. And I was like,
only you can change it.
Joe Rogan and Bill Burr, Joe a number of times pulled me aside and said, you are on the wrong path. You can do this yourself. You can, if you focus on your podcast and if you focus on your stand-up, that is your key to success. Get the fuck away from Travel Channel. Him and Bill one time said it collectively. Bill said, what's your nut? And I was like, he goes, tell me your nut. He's like, we're friends. Tell me your nut. I told him exactly what my nut was. And he did the math in his head and he goes, you can make that on the road and stand and podcast. We'll get you, him and Tom and Joe, Tom was like, I'll get you advertising for your podcast. I will do that. We're going to get you out of this.
Wow.
It was like all these great great men pulled together.
That's like amazing.
Lift me up.
But you still had to do the work.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That I love hearing that story, you know, because also, dude, this town is so fucking competitive, man. And it really can bring out the best and the worst in people. And so I love hearing that story. That's awesome. You know, for me, my problem has been partly because of just, I think, circumstances and habit. I grew up an actor for hire. It's all I know since I was in fucking diapers. Wait for the phone to ring. Phone rings. Tell me where to go. Give me the work. Finally, that's where I can start now. I get the sides. I can work. Read the script. I can work. Go in, do the audition. That's my job. And then again, back to waiting by the phone. And that's been my whole life. And so, you know, I honestly, man, it's like been so hard for me to retrain myself to be proactive and to try to make opportunities for myself.
Because you're married to that.
I am married to that. My wife is that.
Your wife is.
My wife.
Fuck you, get out of my way.
My wife is so that. And so, and I'm not. I am fucking not. And so, but it's been hard for me at times because when I'm not working, I'm really not working, dude. Like, I mean, I have a hard time even like finding a hobby. I'm just like, what?
Don't tell you, by the way,
dude,
don't even get me started.
I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Meanwhile, Jenny, when Jenny's like not working, she's working. There's always something she's fucking working on. And it's impressive and it's amazing and it's mind-boggling and I'm envious and I fucking hate her for it and I love her for it. It's my favorite quality about her and it's also fucking annoying and all this stuff. And I just have a mixed bag of emotions while I'm just sitting there going, I hope my agent calls. I hope I have a cool pilot this pilot season. And it's like, and it's she more than anyone, it's been like, dude, especially now, the industry has changed so fucking much.
Oh, yeah.
Problem is, literally, it happened. It's generational, you know. Not that my whole generation is lazy and actors waiting by the phone, but the generation right after me, Jonah Hill and all those guys.
It's so funny. I thought of that today. I thought
those are the guys. Those are, I think, the first real sort of group, age-wise, that were like phone in hand, making fucking content. Here's what we do. Let's do this. Let's do a comedy group. Let's fucking perform here. Let's, oh, cool. Judd Apatow created the show that we're on. Let's fucking follow him around. Let's make a movie with him. How does he shoot? Where you had a totally different sort of mindset. And now, forget it. The generation after that, everything is content. Everyone's making, now it's, everyone can be a storyteller, which is great for the most part. Problem is everyone also wants to become fucking famous, and they can be. So now that's been a fucking problem, is the way I see it with people on social media. But that didn't happen with me. And maybe I'm just making an excuse. Like
No,
at the
no,
end of
no,
the day,
no.
it's never too late. That's the thing. It's not too late for me to jump on that fucking wagon and fucking start being proactive and do a podcast or do my fucking film something or write something or do something. I just fucking haven't done it, man. It's like, it's hard. I've definitely, I've collaborated more as I've gotten older. I kicked around some projects. I wrote with a buddy. It did some things more than I ever did when I was younger, but it's still really hard for me. It's not organic. It's not like, yeah, dude, let's fucking da-da-da-da. I got this idea. I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. And really, in my head, I'm going, fuck, man, I hope I hear back about that fucking movie that I'm up for.
Yeah.
And the part of the not problem. I mean, obviously it's a good thing, but so far it's always worked out, right? Like even
Well, you're a really good actor.
The last couple years, it was like I just wanted to do a TV show. I left Orange is the New Black, and what I really wanted was, what I really hoped for was to go from Orange is the New Black, which was a big hit, and I thought for me was a great role. I did have some cool dramatic stuff to do, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna parlay this right into the next TV thing, golden age of TV, and it was slow, man. My expectations were not met. I was really bummed. I went 2-3 years going, shouldn't I be on a TV show? What is happening? Like, why am I not?
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, and then, but then I start going, okay, you know what? Fuck that. Why don't I do this? Why don't I, do this thing with Jenny? Why don't I write something? Why don't I fucking focus on this? Why don't I do a radio thing? And then I start doing it, and then I get, the next TV show.
You get sidetracked with like someone going, hey, we want you on this project.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I got to put that on the back burner.
Totally.
Now.
So it's always ended up weirdly working out for me. And so I'm very lucky that way. But at the end of the day, what you're looking at here is a fucking lazy actor. A lazy, good enough actor to keep fucking working over his whole life, but a lazy fucking actor. And so I'm madly envious of fucking hustlers and people that are making their own opportunities for themselves, because I wish I could do that as well. And in a weird way, I haven't had to.
Yeah.
And it drives Jenny mad too, because she's like, you're fucking, where she has had to. But there's also way more pride for her that comes with that. I mean, she really she's like, went from doing one thing to going, hold on a second, and just flipped her whole fucking life.
All of a sudden, she was in a generation of women who destroyed Twitter.
Destroyed it.
Destroyed her.
Yep.
Jenny Johnson, high five.
Kelly
Oxford, who is still to this day. I look at her. I follow on Instagram. I'm really kind of off Twitter.
Same, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
That might be for the better with you.
Yeah, totally.
I was wondering if you still, because I have a buddy going through some really bad shit on Twitter,
man.
And I was like, I was going to talk to you off air about it, but I to this day I follow Kelly Oxford. She is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And by the way, she's one of the funniest fucking humans ever. She has a new movie coming out. I'd like to see.
That she wrote and directed.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Based on her one of her books. It's she really was like one of those women that stood out and got this huge following and just killed it, man. She just it's so funny because Jenny, when I met her, obviously she is super funny. So I meet her and we're laughing. I was like, oh, you're clearly hilarious.
She's got ugly dude energy.
Totally. I don't quite know what that means, but
she's
yes.
Like I remember the first time I met her, and she like got up off the couch and went over and said, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And I went, "Hey, you're hot. You don't have to do that."
Right.
Like you just go like, "Oh, hi," and I'd be like, "Oh,
it's the ugly dude that needs to put in the extra effort."
Myself, like, yeah,
that's
like
funny.
it's and I, as long as my interactions with her have been limited, but like she's a person that came over to my house for my 40th birthday and sees a scar rolling thing and goes, "I want to learn how to roll a scar."
Yep.
That's not hot chicks don't normally do that.
Right.
Yeah.
She's totally exactly right. That's a great description. And so it was clear. You're like, oh my God, you're cool, you're funny, but as an actress, she had gone to theater school, UCLA, one of the best programs in the country. She's incredibly smart. And also, she's blonde. And so there was
I thought you were gonna say blind.
She's blind. She can't see out of the left eye. It's very, but No, but she kind of had this sort of like a little bit of a chip on her shoulder, like, hey, take me fucking seriously. You know, I went to theater school. Yeah, I'm blonde, but I'm a serious actress and I'm fucking smart. You know, she like graduated UCLA in 3 years. Like, I'm smart, I'm cool, like I'm worldly, like stop giving me, I'm not the fucking dumb blonde in the fucking thing, you know, in the weird comedy. And so she kind of fought against that for a while. And as an actress, it was fine because, you know, she would get these sort of parts, you know, that were more serious, but it was, you know, but it was a fucking grind. She's doing like, you know, couple episode arc on a TV show, or she's doing that, and she works, but it was like not, and it was fucking hard, man. It was a fucking grind. And she's like, this is just fucking worse. What am I doing? And, you know, there was that moment where with Twitter, when Twitter started happening, where, and I'm not going to take credit for this, but I remember for so long also saying to her, like, you're so funny. You're fighting against it. You're not nurturing that side of you. How you are normally in person is fucking brilliantly hilarious. Where can that be? How do we exploit that? And then Twitter was like the perfect vehicle for her.
Oh, it was perfect.
So she went from like
Twitter was Jenny and Teets.
Yeah. So she went from, you know, doing playing the scientist who got raped on NCIS to and having like a crying scene in the hospital bed, you know, for 2 scenes and then whatever, to, you know, becoming one of the funniest women on Twitter, and, you know, overnight, and all the, like, you know, the lists that came out. You got to follow her. You got to follow her. And then parlaying that into, you know, writing articles and then books.
I followed her on Twitter before I knew she was Sam's sister.
Yeah.
And I was like, so for everyone listening, just to be, you're probably a little confused. My sister Cotty is best friends with Jason's wife's sister, Sam.
Yep, my sister-in-law, Samantha.
And so, the first time I met you was with, and Cotty used to work at 360 Management, which managed Jason. And first time I met Jason was at my sister Cotty's wedding.
Yes.
And so, so that it's, and when I say Cotty and Sam were best friends, like they were like inseparable up until they started having kids. And so, but I followed Jenny on, and I didn't know
the connection.
I think I read a tweet out loud, and Cotty goes, you know, that's Sam's sister,
that's
right?
Funny.
And I was like, shut the fuck up. But yeah, I mean, those women broke down the stereotype that women are funny.
A million.
I mean, to the point where I think the rub is only men think women aren't funny.
Yeah, I know.
It's like only like meathead men think women aren't funny.
Well, especially beautiful women. You're like, oh, well, you're pretty. You're not funny.
Oh, by the way, every single one of them is a smoke show.
Smoke show. So but it's like you go, oh, you're either funny and whatever, or you're like beautiful.
Kelly Oxford has a joke I still think of today because my daughter's. Maybe I should pump my brakes on this. I'll just say this. I'll just say the joke. I'll just say the joke. She goes, menstrual pad. Women who pads are meant for women who want to smell their menstruation. And I just was like, what the fuck? I started that. I was in Omaha and I retweeted it. And then I didn't even retweet it. I just reworded it or re-put it and then tagged her in it and said, this is the funniest thing I've ever heard. And then she direct messaged me and was like, where did you see that? And I was like, you wrote it somewhere. She was like, I know, but I don't think I ever tweeted it. And I was like, I read it somewhere in one of your writings, maybe in like her blog or something. She goes, oh my God, that's fucking amazing. Thank you. And I was like, I still to this day, our dog is obsessed with fucking menstrual pads. Really fun.
Gets them out of the trash.
And then all of a sudden you're like chewing on a fucking.
Yeah. We had one of our, was it Teets that, Teets, Teets ate condoms, used condoms and pooped them out.
That might be the best reason I've ever heard to start a family.
Pooped out condoms.
So tell me about the new project.
So Outmatched. It's a multi-camera sitcom.
I'm already in love with this.
Live audience.
I'm already in love with this.
Which for me...
Shoots in New York?
Shoots here. Here.
Okay.
So I've been commuting. I go home we do our live show on Friday nights, and I take a red eye home and then home for the weekend, and I come back on Sunday or Monday. but it's dude, it's so much fun. It's that first show when I came out here when I was 12, which was also for Fox, which was the first and last time that I worked for Fox until now, was live audience. And I remember doing it and just being like, this is fucking cool. What a cool thing this is. You know, just having that feedback and playing off of them, and also, you know, the multi-camera, it's there's a very, it's a song. You're singing a song. There's a rhythm to it that, you know, you kind of drop into, and you can play with it a little bit, but for the most part, the writers have written a certain song, and you gotta sing it, and you can play with cadence, and you can play with timing to try to get that laugh bigger than, you know, and it is, for me, that is comedically and technically, it is the most fun. I just absolutely love it. I love coming in. I love trying a new delivery. I love finding where the pauses are. I love finding where it's just so much fun for me. And, you know, and I feel like it's, you know, it's kind of a dying art in a way.
I think it's, I've been very vocal to everyone on my team that I want to get on a multicam. We have a multicam that is written, and I think we're shopping this week, but I love multicam. For me is so much. It's the only thing I've ever really done, but it's what I enjoy.
But it's also great for comics too, because it is about
Yeah.
delivery, man. And it's joke telling, but again, like, you know, the more, like with any comedy, the more, and I've seen your stand up and you do this, the more you ground it in reality, and the more you come across as a fucking human being instead of a joke robot, the bigger the laughs are going to be, the bigger the payoffs. You're going to earn it. It's just going to be better television. And so I just love it, man. I really do. And we happen to have a great group of writers.
What's the premise of the show?
So the premise is Mike and Kay, myself,
4 fucking kids.
We have 4 fucking kids, 3 of whom are geniuses. So we're just like blue collar, working class, high school sweethearts, had kids young, Atlantic City suburbs. And we had these 4 kids, and 3 of them were like off the charts genius. So it just takes that idea, you know, of parenting being so fucking.
The 4th one?
Yeah, you know, it's like already.
Wait, what's the 4th kid?
Not genius. Yeah, she's our favorite. So she's the one with the one-liners. She's just like an idiot. You know, she's
that's great.
She's just a little dummy, and we love her.
Who plays your wife?
Maggie Lawson, who is hilarious. She was on that show Psych forever. She's been around forever, man. It's funny. We have so many people in common.
That's crazy.
But we never worked with each other.
I'm trying to see Maggie Lawson.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw. Oh, she's the chick from Psych.
That's what I just said. You didn't hear me?
Oh no, but I don't know the show. I was the black dude and the white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm not. I might be like your kid, the 4th kid you have in your TV show.
Yes.
With American Pie, because you fucked a pie.
That by the way, still blows me away that was a real moment that we just had.
Put 2 and 2 together ever.
It's so funny. Yeah, so she's great. So the 2 of us have these. Sorry, I was putting myself to sleep with that answer, I guess. 2 of us have these kids, and it's and she's great at the multicam, man. Her timing's fucking impeccable. We're having a blast. We're doing 10 episodes. Short. We came on mid-season, so we're just doing a little.
Are you seeing Cotty? Does Cotty come out?
Cotty, I've seen a couple times. She's popped by. In fact, Sam brought her boys to set. Hiatus last week, 2 weeks ago, and Cotty, you know, came. Of course, we're shooting on Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's on the lot, so it's I've seen her a bunch. It's great.
That's so fucking awesome.
Yeah,
man.
dude. Honestly, it's and you know, we touched on this earlier. I just have such an appreciation for the fact that I can still fucking work, period.
I think that's why you work. I think it's the people who felt there's a thing in comedy of you watch these guys at 33, 35 pop, and they feel like, finally, I got what I deserved.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all just fade away.
Yep.
And they're assholes. They do things where they look at guys a little older than them. That by the way, I am the litmus for this. And I can list off names right now of dudes who popped when I wasn't popping, and maybe I wasn't getting opportunities for whatever reason, or I was doing Travel Channel and I was putting myself on a back burner, whatever reason. And then guys judge you and they kind of write you off, and they don't make eye contact with you anymore. They look over your shoulder and they say rude things to you, and you see them for who they are, and then you watch them fail, and then you succeed, and then they're really nice to you all of a sudden. You're like, hey man,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna forget.
Nope.
I saw the wolf paws when you put on the sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah,
not.
right.
I'm sorry, brother. Like
Yep.
I got my group of friends. They've been cool with me since day one. Look, I obviously I have a podcast with Tom Skur and I. There's no. It's so funny. I don't know. I think we'll release this probably next week. I don't know if Tom and my podcast will have come out yet, but we are obsessed. We don't have hobbies either. And so we researched online hobbies that you could take up. And so we are turning ourselves into dandies.
What is a dandy? Please tell me what a
The
dandy
greatest
is.
thing in the world. A dandy. Let me. So that was one of the hobbies where they were alphabetically. It was like canoeing, like the weirdest hobbies, bird watching, and then one is dandyism. And I was like, wait, what the fuck is that? I'm gonna read the definition of a dandy. My vision is so bad. A man unduly devoted to style, neatness, fashion and dress, and appearance. It's the guys that wear monocles and
Oh my
top
God,
hats
no.
and bow ties, like the guys that dress where you see them, they're hipsters, they're dandies. And they like, there's a dandy shop in Beverly Hills, like this guy who dresses like an old Southern
Dude.
And so Tom
Like
and
Colonel Sanders, basically.
like get your beard trimmed a certain way. So Tom and I are going to Beverly Hills next week, and we are going to a dandy shop, and we're buying full dandy outfits and seeing if we enjoy being dandies. Go out to lunch as a dandy.
Come on.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait.
Dude, amazing.
Yeah, like,
amazing.
We have a hard
time. Are you
time
filming it, or are you just going to do it and then talk about
I've
it?
never done anything I haven't filmed in the past 5 years.
Yeah, okay.
Unlike you, I got to doing, when I was at Travel Channel, and I felt like I was a gun for hire, and I felt like I was better than that. I felt like I had said to them at one point, I want to do what Bourdain's doing. I don't want to just be a host that takes people on vacation. I want to be the guy people are tuning into. And Travel Channel said to me, you're no Bourdain. And I was like, wow. And in my head, I was like, that's how you see me. Like, okay. Like, so I'm your side bitch. Like, I'm not your, okay. And then, luckily I got fired from there, and I said, I bet I can make my own stuff. And I started doing a vlog. And it's like, I found these guys that I was into, and I started doing a vlog. I started making content, and I started to enjoy it. Now I make it on, now I solely make it for marketing my stand-up, for getting people to come, because stand-up's what I love doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do stand-up for free. I'm doing it tonight for free.
Are you?
And we're doing 4 shows at the store.
Where? Oh, really?
Yeah, me, Tom, Joe, Dalia, Tony Rock's gonna be there. It's like my favorite thing in the world is having a joke. I have a new joke about Tom that I can't wait. I have a joke about me and
Does
Tom.
he know about it? No.
No. And I'm gonna show it to him tonight. Me and him. I have a joke about us being gay. We used to fantasize about what if we were gay lovers, and I have a joke that I can't wait for him to hear. And so I get excited about it. I wrote jokes today. I wrote these are jokes I wrote today. Strip clubs are like soccer. You can't use your hands. No one scores, and it's better when they don't speak English. Strippers. Yeah, I can't wait. So I got this joke, right? It starts with this is what I mean. Like, this is my passion. Is I'm laying in bed this morning thinking of this thing. I have a joke where I say some strip club, and then I go, ooh, strip clubs are like dolphins. Dolphins are like strip clubs. You can tell they don't want to be there. The manager's like, ladies, we got customers. Everyone's like, can we touch them? And they're like, yeah, but don't put your fingers in their holes. And then the next one is strip clubs, because I went dolphin counters like strip clubs. Strip clubs are like soccer. And then the last one is strippers are like boats. Seems like a great idea at the time, but a year later, you spent way too much money on it. Your friends have all trying to get in it, and you gotta choke it just to get it to turn over. so I'm super excited to go up and try those out. And so that's where my passion lies. So if I'm about to fill an ice tub up with ice, and then take a video to promote tour dates, I'll do that to get people to come see the jokes I enjoy writing. That's the way my brain works.
I fucking love that.
It's like but it's out of necessity. I'm not a fantastic actor, and I don't all I can do is do stand up, and stand up's a little bit is not as maybe as brutal as acting, but like
Yeah, but it's interesting because I love stand up, and I have crazy respect for stand ups, and I wish I could, like, it is one of those.
I'm shocked you haven't done
It's
it.
one of those. It's interesting because I've done improv, I've done some like storytelling stuff where I've kind of like prepared.
Jenny tried it, right?
Yeah, Jenny did a little bit. Yeah.
I was gonna
Hers
have her
was also
open
kind
for
of a
me in
storytelling. What's that?
I was gonna have her open for me in Irvine. Come work with me in Irvine.
Oh my god.
And I hit her up a couple times, and she was like, that's a bad weekend.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want. It's scary
Yeah.
sometimes too. I
Yeah.
agree.
She similarly is like can write the hell of it. She can do a whole funny thing. I think the format though is a little different than what is sort of traditionally the stand up. It's more of a there's those great spaces like meltdown comics where you go in and you kind of do, it's more of a storytelling format. I've done that stuff, and you find places for the jokes and the whole thing, but the construction of a joke, what you just showed me.
Oh yeah,
and how your brain worked to go from that to that to this to that. I love that shit. I'm so impressed by it.
Yeah, but that is I do that. I do those so I can tell the story. So like I see what you're saying, and that I'm a legit story. My new hour has 5 jokes in it.
Right.
So like, and like my average joke is like 7 minutes.
Right.
But I found that in order to make sure I can carry them through, it needs to be a tad bit frenetic. There's got to be a beginning, middle, and end. I need to plant a few seeds. I'm going to harvest at the end. And it always works best if I can get them to forget we're telling something, tell a joke, and then bring them back.
Right. Yeah.
And so so I do that.
So you are storytelling. I mean, I don't mean to.
No, but I've also been doing it 21 years, and it's like I didn't start storytelling. That hour is like 2
jokes.
stories, and it's a bunch of jokes.
Yeah.
I can't even. I'm blind, but I'm trying to remember a joke. Oh, perfect. If you ever fight with your wife, say 12 words. You are right. I am wrong. I love you, honey. You win. Go to bed happy. Don't fight. And then that night while she's sleeping, cut her hair. Like those, like little misdirections. But for me, what was happening is that they were easily to take. People could take them and use them. And put their own spin on them, and it was Daneisms. It was like I was just recreating what Dane did, and it wasn't until I told the machine story that I figured out my voice, and I was like, "Oh, I can legit sit up here for 13 minutes and tell a story." And I got to be 100% candid. Is Joe Rogan was the one was like, "That's what you need to do. That's what you do.
Yeah,
like stop with the fucking shit anyone can do. Do your thing."
Mm-hmm.
And it's another thing. I think you said this is that you got to be like. You got to be comfortable doing your own fucking thing. You got to be like, you got to be able to say fuck you to everyone and be like, I'm going to get in a bucket of ice and take some pictures and promote tour dates with it. I'm going to do that. And people will go like, I remember Sebastian Maniscalco one time was like, I could never fucking do that. I would never do that. I was like, yeah, because you got such a big audience. You don't need to. I need to. I needed to then. It worked. I'm going to keep doing it now.
Well, the good news and the thing why right now is kind of a great time is that there are no rules anymore.
There's no fucking rules.
Dude, there's
I
absolutely no rules.
Put on a Speedo and did a dance to Post Malone's Wow, and I sold my whole fucking tour out.
There you go.
And by the way, I don't wear a shirt on stage.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I've been embarrassed of that. I'm gonna show you something. You'll go, shut the fuck up. When we get done, I'll show it to you. But like, it's
dude,
crazy. There is no rules. There's no fucking rules.
Everything has changed, man. There's literally, and it's the internet. I mean, because of the internet, everything has gone out the window. The sort of the norms, and particularly, I mean, by the way, in all aspects of life. Yeah. But as it pertains to the entertainment industry, what used to be considered the normal routes that one would take, or sort of the boundaries that you needed to stay within if you were doing a certain type of thing, or if you were trying to make a certain career path, all that shit's gone. There are no boundaries. There are no rules. There are no boundaries. It is each man for himself. and the world is your fucking oyster. Just do whatever works, man.
Yeah.
And because that's the thing, no one knows what's going to work. So it used to be a time where it's like, no, this was what you needed to do to get to here. You do this, you do this, you do this, and then you get here, assuming you have the talent to back it up. Now now you say, I'm going to do this fucking silly thing. There's, you don't go, what? That's fucking insane. You go, okay.
Yeah.
You see people fucking, and now it's like, in New York too, you just walk past people making content. You don't bat a fucking eye.
It's crazy.
You're just like, oh, you're okay, Instagram. You're just doing a whole thing right now. Great. Everyone's got fancier camera than you would imagine a regular person would have, but they do it, and they're gonna, it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy, but
Dude,
it's also exciting, and it's fucking great for someone like you who's willing to fucking do it and take the chances and feel comfortable in your own skin. Clearly, you do, and the payoff is it's potentially huge.
what's the beauty of this conversation is that when I, and as we all do, strive to get back to traditional media, do a multi-camera, do whatever, it's guys like you that we all call and we're like, hey man, I'm trying to sell a project. Could you do a cameo in it? Because it's not that good, but I know you'll make it good.
Right. That's
But
funny.
dude,
Yeah.
This has been awesome, man.
So much fun, man.
I'm telling
Do you
you.
remember? Hey, do you remember? I was doing. It was in 2008. I remember I was in New York and I was doing a play there, but I was in my dressing room and I was doing a series of calls, and I don't know what I was promoting, but I was promoting something. Maybe it was the play. It might have been. No, why would I be doing? No, it was some movie I had maybe coming up. But I remember I was in my dressing room and I was doing a radio tour, and I was calling different stations around the country, and I got to Tampa, and you were in the radio station.
Yeah, with Cowhead.
Yeah. And we were talking, and he was like, hey man, so I think someone you might know is here. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. And then you piped up and you're like, yeah, Bert Kreischer, I know Cotty. And
Oh yeah.
you remember that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, that's kind of that's crazy. I was like, yeah,
It's-
dude. And it ended
it-
up being the most fun, like, because those things can be like, ugh, such a slog. You're just like, who am I talking to now? And then you go through the whole thing.
Here,
I remember that being
let's
so much
Let's
fun.
call Cowhead and see if he remembers that. Fucking Cowhead's still one of my best friends.
Is he?
Yeah, that guy, I've known him the longest I've known probably any radio guy. And he's coming out. We're doing this huge thing for this thing, and he's coming out from Tampa. Let's see if Cowhead remembers. He goes by Mike Calton now because he's trying to brand himself differently, but he's still Cal to me. Would Justin Bartha answer the phone if you called? It's New York.
Maybe. It's
He's
New
got
York.
kids.
He's got kids. What time is
Fucking
it?
dead to me, Cowhead.
8:45.
Anyway,
I
I
could try him.
totally remember
I
that.
could try him.
No.
Why don't I try him and see if he remembers that
Yeah.
that interview?
But what if he's like, yeah, those guys were assholes?
Let me call him.
Adam Richmond's coming to the show from Man vs. Food tonight. He's just texted me and he's bringing Simon Rex.
No way.
Fucking Simon Rex is beautiful.
He's a good looking dude.
He is a gorgeous man, like superior male features. I expect to hear.
Call has been forwarded.
Oh, we both really need to reevaluate our friends.
Christ.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you ever call me, I'll answer. I promise. Every
I
time.
appreciate that. Thank you, buddy.
Uh,
I can't guarantee the same for me. I really can't. I wish I could. I can't. Fuck, I'm terrible. That's something. I feel like that's my New Year's resolution every fucking year since cell phones have been invented.
Oh, I don't reply to texts.
I'm just all of it. I'm just like, oh fuck. I get fucking anxiety when every time I open my email and there's like a bot. I'm like, oh, fuck.
I have so
write
many.
back the
I have
fucking.
like 87,000 unopened emails.
Dude, same.
I don't like looking at them. People that work with me know if it's important, reach out to Leanne.
Okay.
Leanne will take care of it.
That's your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, some lady.
So it's just some
No,
lady thing.
No, it's Leanne will take care of it. And I just, even on my voicemail, I go, I'm out of the country.
Yeah.
Leave a message. And people, because I won't reply to messages. I won't look at messages. I barely reply to texts. But yeah, I'll answer the phones for like my close friends.
Yeah.
Like guys that I know don't make a lot of phone calls.
Right.
Like
Yeah. Right.
Burr, Rogan, Segura, Joey Diaz. Like those guys, If they call, I answer the phone because I know
Mhm.
they don't call often, so it means something.
Right.
But for the most part, I don't know. Dude, this has been a blast. Thank you so
fun,
much
man.
for doing it.
I'm so
Congrats on
thanks
the
for
new
having me.
show.
Thanks,
And
man.
I'm telling you, I can't wait for people to hear this.
Thanks, buddy.
Awesome.
Awesome, man.